This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on, everybody? There's Blue and Chloe. Just a few minutes ago, Chloe was biting Blue's face and his arms. I think he's doing better now, though. Let me see if I can... I don't want to. They look comfortable now. Forget it. Because what I did was I wrestled with her and him, and then all of a sudden, she just wouldn't let him be. He looks like he's pretty comfortable right now. He's doing a little bit of grooming, you know. Yeah, Chloe's pretty mean. Hey, thanks, Mag, and thanks to Paul Ayers when I accidentally streamed a video today. That was really weird how that just... I was trying to record... Well, let me show you guys. I don't know if... Does that work? If I... Say, if I go to the middle monitor here, and then I move this over to the middle monitor. See how this right here has stop streaming and start recording? Well, it says start recording... Start streaming too there. And, you know, you accidentally hit that and it just automatically goes live. I gotta fix something about that. I'm not really a big fan of that. I'd rather have them ask a question. Let me see if in the settings there's something like that. I think there is something like that. Automatically record. I know I think there's a setting somewhere where it asks you, are you sure you want to stream button? Yeah, well, thank you, Paul. I saw it come in there. I was like, whoa, what happened? Yeah, there was more people watching that than this one right now. But yeah, you got a couple of YouTubers out there that every time there's a death in the Delphi community, they turn it into an opportunity for themselves, you know, doing all these multiple videos and everything. All right, I'll just make a comment. You know, Ron Logan, I don't know for sure, but it's being reported by many people out there that he passed away from COVID. Now, I don't know if that's absolutely 100% true because I don't find any newspaper articles on it. Okay? But that's what's being said. And all I have to say about Ron Logan is I feel so ashamed for so many absolute morons that were covering the Delphi case and idiots on social media that for 4 years kept saying that Ron Logan, he could be the guy, he's a killer, you know, and he doesn't look anything like the guy on the bridge. And yes, the bodies were found on his property down here, and his property's right there, and that's the same property, you remember, where Garrett Kurtz had a horse image in his Facebook page, and it matches the one on Ron Logan's property, you know, because this is where Ron Logan lives. And he lived through absolute hell for the last 4 years because of all the morons on social media that would sit there. Remember the one guy that used to come in here all the time and say, oh, Ron Logan. And now there's a jackass, con artist right now making a show that's called, let's see, will this affect the case? And the answer is no, it will not. Ron Logan dying will not affect the case in any way, shape, or form because he had nothing to do with it. But asking a question like that is sort of your way of throwing out a bunch of bullcrap so that people will get excited and watch it, okay? Not sure what you're saying, Zozo, but yeah. So anyways, he makes a show like that, it says, will it affect the case? Because he wants people to call in and say, yeah, man, if he's the killer, man, well, he's not the killer. Ron Logan was like 70 years old, and he doesn't look anything like that. And so I'm just so disgusted. See, it reminds me of the same shit that's done with the bullhorns and all that crap. How come there aren't just regular true crime people? You know? But it works, man. It sells. People buy into that stuff. It's ridiculous. But the con artist doesn't have much time remaining out there. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, hopefully, it was peaceful at the end. I'm sure they keep you sedated and whatnot. But man, that guy never had a moment's peace. All the dipshits breaking onto the property, pounding on his door, trying to get him to answer questions. I'm surprised the bullhorn whack jobs didn't go out there and start screaming at his door. Because that's the kind of stuff that they do. Screaming at Brian Laundrie's parents' house. Like they were the killers or something. Yeah. So anyways, I feel bad for Ron Logan and how much hell he had to go through because of people, like the idiots like the con man and the rest of them. The bottom-feeding YouTubers who at this point only cover the Delphi case every single day because that is all they can do to get people to show up. All right? And, it's just so unbelievable what's going on over there. Now, if you don't like me, that's fine. But supporting trash like that is god-awful. All right? So, anyways, I feel bad for Ron Logan. He lived right there. Right after the murders, he walked some reporters down here, showed them where they were found. I mean, what kind of a murderer would just leave bodies wide open on the surface on their own property, if you really think about it? Wouldn't that be absolutely moronic? Yeah. So he went and showed people the area, and then they did look into him, because he lives there. And then he ended up having to serve jail time because he broke some, I think, probation, violations or something that he had. Like he wasn't supposed to drink, and he went to a bar and that kind of thing. And they did take away his truck. So they did look into it. But I always thought that was dumb too, because he doesn't look anything like the guy. Oh yeah, you got I just told my family about the paint chip Gray Hughes lookalike thing. Yeah. So, anyways, right now we're about another week left in the month, and it'll be our first big donation night, and maybe either this next week or I'm pretty sure it's going to be the week after. That's when I'll be going down to Southern Oregon, probably like on the 3rd or 4th, something like that. All right. So, as I always say, if you'd like to help out the channel with super chats or PayPals or the channel membership, it's actually the channel memberships and PayPal, or not PayPal, and super chats, and the ad revenue are the YouTube income. And today I actually bought a new laptop because the one I have over here currently is like 3 or 4 years old, onto the side over here, and I think I need one that's better for on the road streaming. So that's what I use, some PayPal funds for stuff like that. Let's see. Thanks, Tawny Lee. A early wave attempt. Yeah, this first case I was gonna, well, not the first one, but there's some couple of these cases that I found. They're just so cold. I mean, there is almost nothing on them, and it makes you sad because why didn't those cases get anything in the paper, or you know, it's just sucks. Yeah, well, the other one that I have, I use it for work more now, and it's just kind of, you know, by now it's old. It's like 3 years old, and you know, it's like every 3 years it's a good time to get a new computer. So I'll be probably getting a new main computer, you know, an actual desktop one, maybe sometime in the middle of the year here. I gotta replace it and move on to the newer technology and really be able to, you know, handle all the graphics and everything a lot better.
Smiley cat face, heart, orange heart, blue heart, smiley cat face.
Thanks, JD. And thanks, Tawny Lee, 7 months. Awesome. Oh, yeah, I'm still here. I'll be down in the corner now. There we go. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to get started now. Thank you, Tawny Lee, for the effort there, and JD. And thanks, Mag, early on there. Robinson. Yeah, what about it? Yeah. Okay, Kevin, I live in Oregon, and that's only 3,000 miles from there. It's weird. I'm so close. Yeah. 2.5 hour drive is a long ways. All right. Hey, thank you, Sherlock Hemlock and Dan Carr. A watched pig never boils, as he said. I'm discussing the case with my stepbrother. Yeah, okay, well. Oh, you're catching the wave. Well, thank you. Mag. Alright, here we go. I'm going to get going on this. Da-da-da-da. So, like I said, this first one here is Cecelia Mullins, and there's absolutely nothing. I don't even know what she looks like. Okay? However, why not just put her name out there again somewhere that nobody's talked about her for, I would bet, since about then. Except in maybe a detective or something. Alright? It's just, it's kind of makes you feel bad that there's cases like this, you know. Like here's one, and all we have is there's no pictures of her. It's 1968, March 29th, in let's see, where the hell did this take place? Palatka. I think was that Florida? No, I can't remember. Hold on. Didn't even have it on the newspaper. Yeah, Palatka, Florida. Yeah, there we go. So we'll just shoot over there. So somewhere in here. And this is... Hold on, let me get this one out of here. Yeah. Okay, so the Putnam County Sheriff's Department is conducting a homicide investigation into the death of a 55-year-old woman found dead Friday in her small Hollister home. The woman is identified as Mrs. Cecelia Mullins, a widow whose home was located in a sparsely settled area several blocks from the main highway, according to Alan Patton, criminal investigator. Sheriff E. Walt Policer was the first into the locked house. Entering by way of a window, he reportedly found the small-built woman lying under the covers of her bed with her clothing in a state of disarray. County Judge William E. Warren, acting coroner. Wow, the judge is the coroner. That's a little weird there. County Judge William E. Warren, acting coroner, impaneled a coroner's jury. Assistant State's Attorney Stephen Boyles, who also reviewed the scene, ordered an autopsy to determine the cause of death. Mrs. Mullins, said to have been extremely cautious about keeping the house locked and secure, was missed by a neighbor Friday when she failed to appear for a daily visit. She notified the Sheriff's Department. So what is that again? Mrs. Mullins, said to have been extremely cautious about keeping the house locked and secure, was missed by a neighbor Friday when she failed to appear for a daily visit. And then that lady, the neighbor, notified the Sheriff's Department. Deputy Patton said it appeared that the house had been entered and at the time of death might have been about midnight Thursday. So that was on March 30th. I think it was 29th was the day. And then this is the only other article there is. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Okay. But Florida is pretty bad about having historical information. So,
Love Gray and the
thank you, Vicky. What is it? Glendening? There you go. Did I say that right that time? Vicky Glendening? Like, Glendon is a... you know, those nouns that people always put ing at the end? Like I was efforting. Yeah. Thank you. Anyways, jury impaneled to probe strangulation. So she was strangled. So a preliminary autopsy report Monday indicated that Mrs. Cecelia Mullins, 54, was strangled and sexually molested, according to the Putnam County Sheriff's Department. Mrs. Mullins was found dead Friday in her small home at Hollister, where she lived alone. She apparently had been strangled Thursday night. Sheriff Walt Pellicer, who is heading the investigation, found the victim lying on the bed of her room, her body covered with bedding. He had been summoned to the scene by a neighbor. County Judge William E. Warren impaneled a coroner's jury to investigate. Serving on the jury are they're going through the names. Assistant State Attorney Stephen Boyles ordered the autopsy, which was made in Daytona Beach. Assisting in the investigation were criminal investigator Alan Patton, blah, 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 blah. Mrs. Mullins, a resident of Hollister for 18 years, had been a widow for about 3 years. She was a native of Honaker, Virginia. Survivors include a sister, Mrs. Betty McAllen, Kingsport, 2 brothers, Charles and Harry, a stepdaughter, Mrs. Leslie. I wonder what that's going on there. 4 stepsons. That's interesting. I wonder if she had any sort of inheritance from her husband that these are stepsons from. And she was young, 55, so she was going to live a long time, and maybe they wanted to get theirs, you know. Although she was sexually assaulted, so probably not. I wonder if they collected anything off of her body back then. I mean, DNA wasn't really a thing, so. Well, that's all there was, you guys, on that case. I don't even know what she looks like. Cecelia Mullins. But, hey, why not get her name back out there again? Throw her name out there. Who knows, right? I wonder if that'd be a good case for exhumation and a DNA test. Because if she was sexually assaulted, there might be DNA still in existence inside of her body. Yeah, no problem. Alright. And then the next one, they didn't even say the address or anything, but it's right around in this area. Okay, this one is Madlyn Crouse. This one had a few articles, so maybe had 5. So we'll see what we can get out of this one. Of Nashua woman 74. What does that mean? Of Nashua. That's a place? That really almost sounds like something out of The Handmaid's Tale. No, so there is a Nashua. Okay, well. Oh, it just means a woman from Nashua. God, that's stupid. So this is 1976. And so this is Nashua right here, New Hampshire. Hello. Are you Chucky, like, the show Chuck, the movie Chucky? If so, you should put that little face on there. The little doll, Nashua Police and the New Hampshire Attorney General's Office are continuing their investigation in the apparent strangulation murder of a 74-year-old former elementary school teacher in her apartment. I was trying to find, I always like to look for series, where you have, you type in the manner or, let's see. Yeah, well, it's strangulation in these ones. So I was looking up on this database various cold cases that haven't been solved, and this is one of the ones that wasn't solved, and doesn't have a lot of information on it either, although there's many, 5 articles on, or 6 even. They're not really long or anything like that. This is probably the longest one right here. Nashua Police and the New Hampshire Attorney General's Office are continuing their investigation into the apparent strangulation murder of 74-year-old former elementary school teacher in her apartment. A neighbor discovered the body of Madlyn Crouse, 74, of 33 Main Street. And wow, look how close that was to my random pin. Yeah. Probably an apartment then. That looks like that's been there. Alright. And let's see. Yeah, it is an apartment. That's what it just said. Yeah, so it's in that building right there. That looks like that's been there since 18 something, to be honest with you. Why do you saying being honest with you? Does that mean you're lying all the other times? Yeah. No, it doesn't. A neighbor discovered the body of Madlyn Crouse, 74, of 33 Main Street, late Saturday night. The frail, retired teacher's death was originally believed to have been an unattended death, but further investigation led officials to believe she had been strangled. Assistant Attorney General James Cruz said an autopsy performed by forensic pathologist Dr. George Katzis of the Waltham, Massachusetts hospital confirmed the belief Miss Crouse had been strangled. So again, this is Madlyn, spelled M-A-D-L-Y-N, Madlyn Crouse, C-R-O-U-S-E. The woman's death was rather, Cruz stated approximate time of the woman's death was rather broad, sometime late Friday night or early Saturday morning. The Assistant Attorney General said it has not been established how Miss Crouse was killed, and investigators have not formulated a motive for the murder. Investigators are still combing the scene for evidence in an effort to establish possible motive, but Cruz said there was no obvious evidence of the possibility of robbery. Reports the woman had been sexually assaulted have been discounted, Cruz explained, since there has been no evidence to support the theory. With officials still sifting through the scene for evidence, there have been no suspects established or taken into custody. Working with Cruz in the case are detectives from the Nashua Police Criminal Investigation Bureau, headed by Detective Captain Robert C. Berry. Miss Crouse was born in Nashua on March 13, 1901, daughter of the late John and Catherine Morin Crouse. She was a Nashua High School graduate, and she received a 2-year diploma from Lowell, Massachusetts. Normal School in 1922. She taught in the public school system here from 1922 to 1951, largely as a grade 5 teacher in Mount Pleasant School. Miss Crouse retired because of illness. She later taught 1 year at St. Christopher's Parish School in 1972, and after that she worked part-time in that school's library. She was a communicant of the St. Patrick Church. Survivors include her sister, Mrs. Ernest Lillian Bellevue of Slatersville, Rhode Island, a niece, nephew, grandnephew, and grandniece. Yeah. This is just one of those ones, she's just murdered, forget it. Like, what happened? No new leads seen in Nashua slang. This is just a day later. No new developments have been reported in the investigation. Miss Crouse, 74, of 33 Main Street, was found Saturday night by a neighbor. An autopsy confirmed the belief by authorities the elder woman had been strangled. Assistant Attorney General James Cruz, who was available this morning, had said yesterday that the police had not been able to establish a motive for the killing, and it was not known what may have been used to murder the woman. It is believed she was killed sometime late Friday night or early Saturday morning. She was found late Saturday night by a worried neighbor. Then 2 days later, no developments again. A funeral service was held this morning from the Sullivan Brothers Funeral Home for Madlyn H. Crouse, 74, who was murdered sometime Friday night or Saturday morning. The woman's body was discovered late Saturday night by a neighbor. Authorities said today that there have been no new developments. See, nothing. Then 2 days after that, police continued the probe. So let's see if there's any extra in this one. Local police still have no new information to report in the murder of Madlyn Crouse, 74, of 33 Main Street, last weekend. Miss Crouse, a former schoolteacher, was found dead last Saturday by neighbors, and authorities ruled her death was a homicide caused by strangulation. Mrs. Linda Jameson, 73, of Albert, Vermont, was found strangled in her home in Grand Isle County on an island in Lake Champlain. The victim, let's see. Attorney General James Cruz, who was working with Nashua authorities in the probe, said she died late Friday. I guess there's another murder here. Is it? Oh, is this a different one? All right, wait, hold on. Let me check some. Miss Crouse, a former schoolteacher, was found dead late last Saturday by neighbors, and authorities ruled her death was a homicide caused by strangulation. Assistant Attorney General James Cruz, who is working with Nashua authorities in the probe, said she died late Friday night or early Saturday morning last week. Mrs. Linda Jameson, 73, of Albert, Vermont, was found strangled in her home in Grand Isle County on an island in Lake Champlain. The victim, a former schoolteacher, was found by her son, former Vermont Representative Wayne Jameson of South Burlington, Vermont. Vermont authorities said they were following a number of leads, including laboratory tests of samples of hair found beneath Miss Jameson's fingernails. State Attorney Michael Cain said there is a good chance the killer is from the county. The Jameson killing was the first confirmed murder in the county since record-keeping began. Well, let me see what happened to that person. Linda, I think I looked that up. Linda Jameson murder. I don't know. I don't know what happened to that one. I thought I looked that up, but yeah, there's two separate cases. I wonder if they're just bringing them up because they're both 73, 74, both school teachers. So right there. So they're probably I don't know, 160 miles away. All right, there we go. And then she was mentioned in this one. It was a heinous crime, one that Nashua, this was 1976, 3 days later, so March 9th. And then there was not one other article ever again, and this is 1976. It was a heinous crime, one that Nashua area will not forget for some time. Well, they did in the newspaper. Who would want to strangle Madlyn Crouse, a retired school teacher whose only vice was writing poetry? Who would want to take advantage of a 74-year-old woman who probably weighed no more than 90 pounds soaking wet? She was a Nashua high school graduate, and she received a teaching diploma from Lowell, Massachusetts, Normal School, whatever the hell that means. A 2-year college at the time, 1922. She taught in the public schools here for 3 decades, mostly at Mount Pleasant School, and 1 year at St. Christopher's Parish. Miss Crouse was a victim of strangulation, according to an autopsy performed by Dr. George Katzis of the Waltham, Massachusetts Hospital, a pathologist. Her body discovered in her apartment where she lived alone by a neighbor on Saturday night, February 28th. Time of death was estimated sometime late Friday or early Saturday morning. The case becomes complex when you consider that authorities said there was no evidence of sexual assault nor robbery. Ms. Crouse drew a city pension of $484 a year. Wow. A year? Well, that's terrible. And a state pension of $1,054 per year before cost of living annuity was added by the legislators. Those who knew her said she was a quiet, unassuming, and kind person. Isn't that just ridiculous? Yeah, it's crazy. So anyways, we on this channel we cover all kinds of random cold cases from, you know, that never will be mentioned again, like this case right here, unless somebody actually went and got a FOIA request and got all the information that they had. Doesn't sound like that a lot will probably ever be discussed, because it's not, there's no you know, there's no payoff, right? Like, hey, yay, I'm gonna get a lot of people are gonna be really interested, and you know, but that's, I don't really care. I mean, it's always nice to do videos, shows where there's a lot of popularity, but it doesn't keep me from doing other ones, you know. Like, we just happen to be covering Gabby Petito before it was even big at all. It was just sort of a, and then it got really big, and then I always want to wander off and do something else again, because I get so disheartened by the trickery that other YouTubers and people do out there to keep it going, you know, keep a story going, even when there's nothing. They just keep it going, keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Yeah. I don't know, why would a former student just want to strangle her? There was no sexual assault. That doesn't mean, it doesn't sound like anything that would happen. I would think it just, you know, I would look into, if I was doing that case, is there anything, I mean, it's strange. I mean, the retirement, I mean, it's bizarre. I mean, it really is. She has, I thought she had some relatives or something like that, but maybe that was that first case, but I don't know. I can't imagine a student from, you know, 20 years prior tracking her down and strangling her to death, you know. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, but yeah. Well, there's a lot of cases like that that aren't solved, though. That's the thing. Yeah, I was wondering if that was working too, Lee D. It seems to have these long lulls now where I get discouraged. Maybe somebody wanted her apartment. Okay. Come on, guys. Yeah, what angle could you see an ex-student doing it, though, for those of you who think that? Thanks, Lee D. No, it wasn't Stephen Avery. Yeah, we don't do that kind of crap on here. Saj 1913, okay? Yeah. And it wasn't Wisconsin. Wow, you've already sent me to jail? Holy crap, man. I guess we're stuck now. No bail. Lee D just threw me in the clink, I guess. Right, no bail. Wow, you threw out a tester and then threw me in the prison. Man, that's brutal. What did I do wrong? That is such a crazy, crappy number. I mean, even, you know, the stuff was cheaper in 1976, but $484 a year, that's dumb, you know. What is that a month? It's like, you know, $30 or $40 a month. Yeah, $40 a month. What are you gonna do with that? Oh, come on. Yeah, maybe. Or you didn't put in aliens, Mag. You forgot aliens. Let's see. Thanks, Pebs. Yeah, remember that one night we went over cases where all these elderly people? Alright, we're now break even because Pebs wasn't anything, so now we broke even. Oh, and then living it Freed Gray. Wow, it's almost like I feel like I'm Shamu or something. Thank you. Was it this one? There we go. Yeah, but I mean, she retired in 1950 something. Is what what it said in the article. She retired from being a teacher in 1950 something, and this took place in 1976. What do you? I don't know. I gotta tease Mag though. Not Bill. Wow, did you throw me back in there? Wait, hold on. Well, how did this work then? So we had negative,
Lol, not bad.
even, doom, and then just when I went out the door, Mag gave me a -10. So I guess we're, before we can even move on, I'm back in there again. Man, that's brutal. Oh, free gray. There we go. Yeah. There we go. What happened, Saj? 1913, are you okay? Yeah, the only scenario I can think of is she came upon a crime in progress. A drug deal, robbery. Well, she was in her own home, Kevin. She was in her own apartment, and there was no robbery. And she was just strangled to death, and apparently... Oh, man. She's throwing me back in again. I can't get out. Man, don't you guys feel sorry for me? I mean, let the violins play. You can stay in jail as you didn't recognize my question. Wow, so now I'm -15, but now I have to go up and find Candelie's question that might be 100 miles up there now. I think you have to, like, write it again. What question? Put in the question.
You're so mean, Mag. Gee.
Why would you think it's mean? You don't like me, Mary Lou.
No, I like you, Gray, but, yeah, that's right. Good job, Mag.
Oh, look at that. Wow, that's not even bailing me out. It's just a violin. Bail as hell. Low. Alright, I don't know where your question is. You should have typed it in again. Hold on. I wonder if the neighbor heard any kind of scuffle to make her check on the woman. I don't know. Maybe she just knocked on the door. Was that the question? Yeah, maybe. It doesn't say that at all. But that's all there is. Isn't that sad that that is all there ever was ever in the newspaper? It's like, yeah, you know, the papers aren't really selling with this elderly person. So we're just going to have to... So, hey, Amber, was that bail there? Maybe you can clarify that for me. Or were you just playing a violin for me? Does seem to be... Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. If it's strangulation and there's robbery, it could purely be they just killed her so they couldn't be a witness. Oh, well, there you go. Well, I like you too. There you go. We get... I can get out. Oh, I know. I'm a habitual offender now. I still haven't built my maximum security prison. Based on how this has gone in here, it would have been hard to get out. Sherlock Hemlock. Yep, I'm so mean. Thanks, Amber Maiden and Lori
Okay,
H.
bail because I like you.
So much jail, so little funds. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is, well, you guys, thank you guys very much for being so generous. It's awesome. And so far this month, because of the generosity of the freaks, we've been able to donate 1,000 so far to a couple different charities, and then at the end of the month,
Gray, stop.
we're probably going
I
to...
beg you. I'm laughing so hard it hurts. Smiley face.
Well, I'm glad I was able to make you
Sarcasm.
laugh
The
a little
fee
bit.
sweet. So very mean. A little toward your bail. You repeat criminal. You embarrassed smiley face.
That's right. I am a repeat criminal. Makes me wonder if she had an argument with someone
So
or
much jail time, so little funds. Smiley face.
or something like that, and whoever. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to hear, like, somebody's. Oh, I think that was actually Candalee said about, maybe somebody, neighbor heard something. I don't know, but it seems like that would have made it into the. Maybe they wouldn't have mentioned that. Hey, thank you, Quietly Frozen. Gotta love that name. Watch everybody. Watch Chloe. Oh, man. That was the coolest thing ever. I will, Pebs. I'll have some, maybe a cold beer, Coors Light, something like that.
Coors Light? That's lame, Gray.
Yeah, I like Coors Light, so the diet beer out there. Yeah, so this is one of those things. It's just weird. All it is there's no information about where she was or what she was doing. Let me go look at the very first one again, because that was the only one that kind of went into more depth. So, Crouse stated approximate time of the woman's death was rather broad, sometime late Friday night or early Saturday morning. The Assistant Attorney General said it has not been established how Miss Crouse was killed. Investigators are still combing the scene for evidence. Reports the woman had been sexually assaulted have been discounted. I wonder if there was, what day was, so this is March 1st. Here, let me go back to, let's see if we can find something else. Because this might have been, there might have been a time where they didn't know who she was or something. Maybe it's like the day before. Let's see. Woman found dead in apartment. I think, see how I'm doing that? See, that's how that might be worded. Woman found dead in apartment, and this would be 1976. I'd actually put, shoot, that'd probably be February 1976 in New Hampshire. And this would be right around the, there's nothing there. Let's see. What else would it say? No, that's not it. How about, let me try March, right at the beginning. I don't know what story that is, but police hunt for slayer of Nashua. Oh, there you go. Oh, we already did that one. That's the one we did. Ah, crap. But it seems like it says they're continuing their investigation, that it would have been mentioned maybe on February. Well, let's see. How many days are in this one? So it would be February. This did at the 29th, but there's nothing there. They might not have made the paper because it seemed like it was unattended. You know, it just wasn't a big enough story, and so it didn't make the paper. All right. Well, heck, maybe I'll do these other two then that I had. Thanks, Eugenie. These other two are also just as... And then we'll get to the one that was longer at the end. The one that's in the title at the end, though. So this one's Bernardine Lewis. And there was... it was actually on Web Sleuth. Somebody created a thread because it was a relative of theirs. Because, again, there's nothing out there. And they put one article out. So we'll read that one in a minute, but this is her right here, and this one's 1975. You do? You look forward to me and my joking around comments about the algae blooms? Pevs W? Oh, yeah? Well, you can't... Oh, yeah, I don't know how people do that either. Hey, Eugenie, how did you type in the 99-cent part? Because when I give super chats too, it only has like the option of 5, 10, you know, that kind of thing. How did you get the 90? Like all of you, you know, there's 1999, 1999, 1999. How'd that happen? Yeah, well, that's why the paper wouldn't have published it, Mag, I would imagine. Because it was like, yeah, it's just a regular old death, you know. And then they went, oh, wow, ooh, it's a strangulation. Let's get in on it now. Really? Are you guys on... Let me ask you something. Are you guys on Apple products or the ones that say 99 cents? I've never seen that. It's almost like whatever service you're using is charging you that extra $1. Oh, you can? So maybe it's a phone thing or weird. Yeah, so maybe it's on a phone. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're on a phone. Do you have an Android, Sarita? Oh, weird. That's kind of strange. I wonder why they charge... Well, why would it be a cent less on a cell phone? Like, what's the point of that? Okay. Well, this one is in Venice Beach, California. And it's... See, right here it says Bernardine, but there's an article that I found that says Bernardine. Get rid of the R there, Bernardine. So not Bernardine, Bernardine, instead it's Bernardine. Anyways, I think it's with an R. And I looked up both. So, Bernardine Lewis, unsolved homicide victim, February 3rd, 1975, Venice Beach, California. So that's right during serial killer haven time. I mean, that's like... So the only things I could find was they had this one in... Well, let me forget this one because this other article has the picture and writing below it. Hey, thanks, Sean Beecham. Long Beach and Los Angeles police Monday released a composite sketch of a suspect sought in the murder of an Anaheim woman whose nude body was found stuffed in a trash can in Venice last month. So she had a nude body. This is sort of like in the Lumberton case with Rhonda Jones and Christina Bennett, how they were, Rhonda Jones was found in a garbage can nude. But that's obviously not related to this one. So an Anaheim woman whose nude body was found stuffed in a trash can in Venice last month. Police described the suspect as a stocky Caucasian 35 to 40-year-old, about 5'10", 180 pounds, with well-trimmed dark curly hair. He has the mannerisms of a salesman, like some of those YouTubers out there, and speaks French Canadian in a second language. They believe he lives or works in the Long Beach area. He was wearing white trousers and a red blazer January 30th at about 4 p.m. when he left Salty's bar. So that's where, let me get that on there. That's in Venice Beach. So Salty's bar at the time was at 2299 East Anaheim Street. And that would be, I think this is in Long Beach, right there. And right there. And that would have been Salty's. Yeah, so that used to be a bar at one point. Kind of has that look. Yeah, it doesn't look like the greatest part of town right there. Alright. So that guy, he was wearing a white trousers and a red blazer January 30th at about 4 p.m. when he left Salty's bar at 2299 East Anaheim Street, Long Beach, with Bernardine Lewis, 30, of Anaheim, police said. So he left with her. Then the badly beaten body of Mrs. Lewis, the mother of 3, was found February 2nd in a trash can in the beach community of Venice. Her car was found in Long Beach 3 weeks later. Wow. The beach community of Venice. Let's see where that is. So she was found somewhere around in this area. That's kind of so that's where her body was dumped, but then her car was found over here. So I bet the person lives more, closer to this area over here. And her car's over here because, I guess it's possible he used her car, drove her to Venice Beach. That's probably more likely. Used her car. His car is parked somewhere around by Salty's bar here. Then he drives her in her car all the way over to Venice Beach over here. He sexually assaults her, kills her somewhere, then dumps her body. He could have even sexually assaulted her near Salty's bar somewhere, but to throw people off, drives her body all the way over here and puts her in a garbage can nude. Then he drives her car back, places it somewhere random. That's why it took him 3 weeks. I mean, you could have parked over here on a street and nobody's going to notice it. And then he walks back over to where his vehicle was parked and goes home. That makes sense to me. And we've had a couple other cases similar to that. He was wearing white trousers and a red blazer. The badly beaten body of Mrs. Lewis, the mother of 3, was found February 2nd in a trash can in the beach community of Venice. Her car was found in Long Beach 3 weeks later. Investigators asked that anyone having information that could lead to the suspect contact the Long Beach homicide detectives. Okay, well, that's 1975. This is the next article. This is it, actually. I mean, it's ridiculous, like I said. There is one more, though, that the relative put in on Web Sleuth, so I do have that. Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, I've said that before. Well, Cat, is once you've been... I mean, what you should do is avoid ever being in a situation where... That's why hitchhiking was so stupid. But you should never be in a situation where you allow yourself to be in a position to be a victim of a psycho, right? But once you're in a position where you're completely at the mercy of the rapist, and you're and you've been taken somewhere. Like if they try to get you into a car and you're not in the car already, you got to fight like hell to never be put in that car. But if you make it into that car and they take you somewhere, you know, there's a lot of people out there that say, oh, it's such a great idea. You know, what you do is you kick them here and you do... Listen, when you're out in the middle of nowhere somewhere, I think... I've mentioned it before, it seems like you almost have to comply in a way and try to make them feel really like they're just awesome. You know, I do agree with that up there. We've talked about this before. You have to, and there's other people that have gotten away from, that's really your only chance. Because a lot of these guys, they prey on the fear and all that kind of shit. But if you actually didn't allow that, the fear, and you sort of made them feel like you thought they were like a worthwhile person, and like, hey, you know, I don't know. It's kind of a hard thing to tell somebody, but what is your other option? You know, it's about your best shot at living once you're in the absolute worst compromised position, right? Don't allow yourself to get taken, first of all, but once you're in the situation and the person is going to be assaulting you, then what's the next best option at that point? I know, you really would be, Zozo. That's why it's so hard, because you're going to be so scared, and it's a freaking nightmare is what it is. Huh? Yeah, that's not going to work when you're in the middle of nowhere. That's what I was talking about, Sean Beecham. When you're in a compromised place where you have no out, what do you do then? Well, of course it's more complicated, but how do you get out of it? I mean, I guess the thing you might do is sort of like, you have to play to the psychology of the killer. You know, it's because if he has you in the woods somewhere and he's going to assault you, your likelihood of living and making it out of there is almost nothing. I mean, zero, right? So what do you do then at that point? Do you try to make him pretend like, hey, let's go out on another date? You know, hey, I'll see you tomorrow. Whatever. And I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least you tried something other than you're just going to die. You know? I don't know. It's brutal. Yeah, I don't think anybody would know what to do. You know? I mean, the fear that you'd have in any situation would keep you... You know, you might want to say, ooh, this is what I'm going to do. Ooh, I'm going to do this. But you're not going to do, hey, thanks, Susanna MacGillipadre. Yes, it worked. Yes, it did work. What do you guys think? What would you do? Oh, so she did that and she was the lone survivor of a serial killer? Yeah. And there was another killer. I've seen that a few different times. I think even Paul Eder was sort of like that, you know. You know, there's weird serial killers that drop you out back off at your house sometimes. Yeah, I mean, it really just, it does depend on what their what type of serial killer they are. You know, definitely does. Yeah, maybe that's sort of how you reason. Yeah. Trying to is complex. Come on, you keep saying the same thing. I'm sure I would like to use psychology, but who knows? Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. When somebody has a gun on you, and it's just you and them, and they've got a knife or a gun, how do you fight them? Right. Well, I hope you never ever have to figure that one out there, Mag. I mean, that would, what it's a freaking nightmare. I was picturing the Delphi case while I was thinking about it, just thinking what an absolute nightmare that was for them. Again. Get what into their brain? Yeah. Could be a short fight there, Plato, but yeah, at least you fought, right? I mean, if they have a gun, it's not really. Yeah, that's why I do more videos on women cases, because I always feel like a lot of times unless they're boys or like below the age of 16 or something, it just seems like they're way more vulnerable, and we have these crazy wacko. There isn't really a lot of sexual predator female serial killers. In fact, I don't even really know if there is a sexual predator female serial killer. I know that there's serial killer women that have killed for other reasons. Oh, there you go. Scratch him in the face there, Mrs. Ryan. That's about what Libby was doing when she reached up and she filmed the guy. Well, she didn't reach up. She reached down and filmed the killer, right? She was trying to, it's like a digital, oh man, I almost said digital DNA. I almost said digital DNA. Oh man, that would have been absolutely ridiculous. Almost said it though. I guess I did say it after I said what I was about to say. You remember the pork chop, everybody? The great Harvey Carroll with his pork chop on every godforsaken face in the entire world. It fit. Yeah. See, there you go. I hate chocolate. Something like that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert on it at all. I've seen other people say the same thing that are experts, and then there's people that say the opposite, and then there's people that they've had it happen to them, and the feeling they have wouldn't fit with being able to do what I was just saying. So I don't know. Oh yeah, that's right. There's this little pork chop thing that seems to, if you look at really careful at the bridge guy, you'll see this little pork chop shape on the side of his head that miraculously fits on every single person in the entire world. Lord. Yeah. I don't know, Amber. Jeez. I don't know about that. You get somebody that's just a violent wacko, he's gonna end up just killing you. But you never know. You might be right. I guess it would be depending on your training, right? Like if you had a whole bunch of training and knew exactly where to kick and punch and do those kinds of things. Yeah, there you go. What Mag just said. See? There you go. Huh? I mean, if you knew MMA, maybe it would work out pretty well for you. Yeah. Well, there's actually these cool devices that are out there too that make sounds. Like as soon as the person shows up, you can have it making a sound. You can have pepper spray with you at all times. Have it in your hand whenever you're walking to your car. Just get ready to use it. Every single time you're walking to your car in a parking garage in the evening, you know, have the pepper spray in your hand with your finger on the trigger. And then if there's nobody there, once you get in your car and it's locked, and then maybe take your hand off the damn thing. Something like that. Yeah, there's this one that my wife bought. It was like you pull out, it sort of like looks like a, oh hell, I'll get it right here. Hold on a second. I'm going to play this. So this, if you hear it, don't go, oh, great, great, great. Yeah. So hold on, let me get to this one. Yeah, see this right here on the keychain? Well, watch this one. It's loud. Woo! Then you just put it right back in the thing. It's by, Hey Mate. Good eye, Mike. Yeah, I was just letting you know. But that's it. Yeah. Alright, let me finish the rest of this one. It says Bernardine Lewis, 30 of Anaheim, was last seen alive at 4 p.m. January 30th when she left Salty's bar at 2299 East Anaheim Street. So that was 4 p.m. when she left that. It wasn't even at night. Her nude battered body was found in a trash can in Venice 3 days later. So I wonder if she was alive for a while or somebody just hadn't noticed her yet. 3 weeks after that, her car was found in Long Beach. Long Beach and Los Angeles investigators are seeking the man who left the bar with the victim. He is described as white, about 5'10", and 180 pounds, so it looks like every other person on the planet. With dark curly hair, he speaks French as a second language, ooh, and is believed to be from Canada. Man, a Canadian serial killer comes down to, because whoever killed her is likely a serial killer, okay? He was wearing white trousers and a red blazer. Secret witness will pay $2,000 for information leading to an arrest and murder conviction. That sounds like a pretty good lead. What do you think? Yeah, that's a pretty good one too. You know, you go like this, just like that, and just, you know. It even has that sound effect you can play at the same time. Yeah, like that one. Get them right in the eyeball. But a lot of times you don't have time to do all that. They grab you when you're not paying attention. Alright, so let me see what that other article was. It's up here. This is the one that was on Web Sleuths, but it's at an angle, so I'll just rotate it around. Nude woman's body found in Bay trash bin. The nude body of an Anaheim woman who apparently was raped and murdered was found over the weekend stuffed in a large trash bin at a Palm service station. Venice detectives said the woman was identified by her husband as Bernardine Lewis. The man said he had not seen his wife since Saturday. A man who was working on his car behind the station, oh, there we go, we can get the exact spot here, at, let's see, 11200, close to this anyway, Venice Boulevard. That wasn't too far off there. It's actually on the same. So that's Venice Boulevard. Let's see where 11300 is. Yep. Oh, okay, it's that way. So that means it's in that block right here. So it should be really close to here. I'm sure the service station's probably still around, I would imagine. I wonder if it was that one. That Exclusive Motors there. Let's see what we got over on the other side. Well, that's a gas station there. I don't know. Let's see what the description is. It almost feels like it's this one. Alright, so a man who was working on his car behind the station located in the 1100 block of Venice Boulevard discovered the body around 1:30 p.m. when he went to dump some trash. Police said they were unable to determine the cause of death. An autopsy scheduled today. The woman, who was in her 20s, was wearing only a wedding ring and necklace. Man, that's brutal. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if that's exactly where the bin was in 1976. This fence wasn't there, though, at that time. I'm just going to say that that's where it was. It just has that feel that that's the right one. Not this one. This one's kind of secluded back here. I think if you went back to 1989... Let's see, 2002. Yeah, satellite image sucks, but I think it was back there. Well, there might be DNA in this one. See, this is one of those ones where they might think of exhuming her, unless she was, you know, obviously she was cremated, there's nothing left, but this is one of those ones with she was sexually assaulted. They did find her after 3 days, but there might still be DNA inside of her that is viable. I mean, I think that is incredible to me. And in some ways, it's kind of sick, too, you know? That somebody gets murdered and they're sexually assaulted. They go to the morgue, they get completely, you know, fixed up, whatever the hell it is. Then they go to the funeral and then they get buried, and with them in that casket is the killer's DNA with them the entire time, which is kind of sick. But at the same time, it also means that there's still a chance to catch the bastard, or at least destroy his name throughout history, you know, for the ones that have already died. Yeah, that's an interesting one there. I wonder if they're taking a look at that. So there she is again, right there. Bernardine Lewis. She would do an interview with Gray. Who? All right, I'm gonna do one more of these cases that has almost nothing on them. Now this last one almost, I mean literally has one article, and I'm gonna put this one in here too. Might as well. Wait, that wasn't what I meant to do. Yeah, Bernardine Lewis was the last one. Not sure why that. I don't think I need that right there. Alright, there we go. There. Okay, Debra Ann Sadusky. Not Sandusky, but Sadusky. This is in Pennsylvania. And this is all they had. In the newspaper, anyways. I swear all the time. What the hell are you talking about? You want to be taxidermied? You're crazy, man. Well, you know what would be cool? Yes, taxidermy yourself, and then fill up your, like a piñata, your body with candies, and then let people get like a stick and bash it out. Does that sound good? All right. right after I say that, right, Pebs? Oh man. Awesome example of empathy. Yeah, right, Amber. Who the hell would want to be taxidermied? That's ridiculous. Like a stuffed animal and some... You know, I wonder if there's a serial killer out there that's done that. He has like a... Well, that's a little bit like what was on Dexter this last season. And the final season. Yeah, I know. What? Yeah, exactly. Zozo said she wants to be taxidermied. Like the... Remember the movie Jaws? When Quint said something like that? Hey, yeah, well, I can't even imitate him. And I wasn't going to do a very good job. Because I could tell by my voice. It wasn't going to sound like Quinn, or whatever the hell his name was. Oh, they just had a new season of Dexter, Kimberly. And the last season. Which was maybe mad. Alright, so Debra Sadusky, Miss Debra A. Sadusky, 20, of Oniontown Road, Medford, New Jersey, granddaughter of Mrs. Loretta Sadusky, Lost Creek, died by drowning Monday in a boating accident near Atlantic City. Oh wait, is this the... Hold on a second. Yeah, this one's had some recent stuff on it. I mean, as a matter of fact, I got sent these articles, but there was almost no coverage of it back in the day. I think I'm on the right one here. Sadusky, yeah. So this is all there was in the paper back then. Born in Hackensack, New Jersey, daughter of Joseph and Marilyn Williams Sadusky, she was a graduate of Shawnee High School, Medford, and was a student at Stockton State College. In addition to her parent, you know, so it's just a basic article about somebody who drowned, you know, like they're not really looking at anything. But then it turned into, it's like this bigger deal, because it actually eventually turned into a cold case. That's her right there. And she said Medford cold case from 1980 is reopened for reinvestigation. When Michael and David Sadusky were 16 and 17 and their brother Joseph was in his 20s, tragedy struck their family, just like I just read. You guys ready to get on to this next one? Yeah. You guys are crazy. Okay. When Michael and David Sadusky were 16 and 17 and their brother Joseph was in his 20s, tragedy struck their family. Debra Sadusky, the only girl in the family, went missing and was never seen again. Now more than... well, she was... I thought... Well, they just said she drowned, but... Now more than 40 years later, her siblings want her cold case reopened. The Saduskys have been residents of Medford since about the time of their sister disappeared. Debbie Sadusky was 20 years old when she died sometime around August 25th, 1980. A graduate of Shawnee High School, she was part of the National Honor Society Drum and Bugle Corps Majorette, a cast member in multiple school plays, and a Shawnee volunteer. Deborah went on to pursue secondary education, and then, let's see, as reported by Michael and Ann, August 27th press story, the night Deborah went missing, she left her purse with a friend at Merrill's Inn and said she would be back in half an hour. See, where is Merrill's Inn? Is that... I don't even know if that's still out there anywhere. Oh, Merrill Lynn. I don't even know what... You know, what's weird is I don't know what... There was never anywhere that explained exactly what state or anything that this was in. And even you look at up here... So I guess it's Medford, New Jersey, right? Is that right? Yeah. I think. Yeah, it's New Jersey. She left her purse with a friend at Merrill's Inn and said she would be back in a half an hour. She never returned. Days after she disappeared, Deborah's body was found in a capsized 19-foot cabin cruiser at the Pier 4 Marine across from Merrill's. Okay, maybe it's meant to say Marina, maybe. Yeah, there it is, Pier 4. So maybe over here. Well, it says Pier 47 Marina. Here's Pier 4 Hotel. And so maybe that's Pier 4 somewhere. I'll just take a guess here. You know, I'm actually, what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to do this one a different time because I want to make sure I've got everything in the right order. I tried, you know, it said, even the newspaper article didn't really say much, you know, like you look at this thing and Onion Town Road, so I guess you could, let's see where that is. Onion Town Road. Yeah, there it is, Medford, New Jersey. Is it anywhere near here? So it's up here. So that's where she lived, somewhere up here. Thanks, Kathy Frydenmaker. Alright, so way up there, and then I guess that would be Pier 4 if that's a restaurant. And that's 40 miles, so it seems somewhat reasonable. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the other one because it's long, and this one might be slightly longer. Let me see if I can find more stuff on it. I got two really long recent articles on it, but I think I even have her gravestone there on Find a Grave. The cabin of capsize. Autopsy revealed that drowning was the cause of death. However, she had other marks on her. Didn't make sense either. So we'll do this one a different time. I'm going to move it over to tomorrow. I do that, like I'll move forward. There's one that Zozo mentioned about Carolyn Wazalewski. That one's just a really long one too, so might try give that one a whirl too coming up here. That was 1954. Alright, so now we're moving on to the Sharrey Case. Right? And we're almost to a nightly goal. But if you guys want to help out, get us over the goal and get us so that we're making headway, that'd be awesome. Thank you, Kathy Frydenmaker. Do I need a Honeycrisp now? Well, it is halftime. We're at the halftime mark. Hey, there might even be the dogs in there this time. I'll do it. Here we go. But I need an apple, so hold on. Get right there. Now, it's not really from another country, that's just their last name. Alright. Ooh. There we go. Look at this one. This is a big one. Alright, here we go. This is what it really sounds like. Here we go. Mm. Yeah, this is a part of the show where you can help out. Like a little game. Both the dogs are ready to go on the behind the apple. I don't eat Snow White apple. I only eat Honey Crisp. They're the best ones out there. Or we can just sit there and stare at the apple for hours. Guys, it's almost like a punishment for me, it feels like. That's because you've never eaten a Honey Crisp like these, Gene. Are you guys going to be helping me eat this apple? Or are we just going to stare at it for the rest of the show? No, it's not better, sorry. It is kind of funny, right, Zozo? It's not enticing people. You've got Chloe and Blue over there. There we go. We're going to get 2 with that one. Thanks, Mag. 3 bites now. We'll do 3 bites. 1. 4 bites now. Mag, Lori Fisher, Cammy Curry. Give me 5 bites. So there's 3. Carla, oh, no, I think there's 6. 1, 2, 3. 6 bites. 4. 5. I think there's 7 now. 6. You guys, you hit them so fast. It's like, I don't have time to eat my apple. Thanks, Pebs W, Plato, and Delva Johnson. Kathy Friday Maker. Yep, there you go. And there they are, everybody. Look at the joy. Thank you. Good. You see how she got up there and was like that was pretty funny. Hey, thank you, No Place Like Home, Pebs W, Jessica Schubach, Delva Johnson, Plato, Pebs W, Kathy Friedmaker, Carly Therese, Cammy Curry, Lori Fisher, and Mag with the karate chop bear dancing something. Nah, Blue likes Chloe. Like he jumps up there on his own to be with her. She's just a little bit annoying to him sometimes. But he'll go up. There's times where Blue grabs a toy and then runs it over to her and like hits her in the face with it, so that and then she goes, "Oh yeah, let me get that," you know. He just doesn't like to always I mean, basically, Blue is like some guy that's, well, hell, my age, right? And then Chloe is about like somebody that's 7 or 8, trying to like, hey, come on here, hey, check this out, hey, look at, every 2 seconds. And then there's times where it's like, hey, you know, you're ready to go play and do something, but a lot of times you just want to sit there, right? Yeah, you know that's how it is. Yeah, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Oh yeah? Blue, how's it going, Chloe? Chloe. Love. Yeah. They fall asleep pretty quick. I can tell you that. Alright, we're going to get on to the main case that was in the title. And her last name is Case, ironically. And Sharrey is her first name, but it's Sharrey. And at the time, they say that there was articles in the paper, because it happened in December of 1977, but I really couldn't find anything right when it happened. So I don't know if they had the wrong spelling. I tried different spellings of Sharrey, and I couldn't find any of it right then. I did find a couple articles from 78 and one in 80 and then 87, and there's some later ones, but so here we go. Probe continues. So I guess there was a probe that was already going on, but we don't get to see the other articles. You know, let me just try it one more time just for the hell of it. You never know. Sometimes newspapers.com doesn't have something, and then 10 minutes later, if it's there. So let's see. Sharrey. And I think that's all you really need, because that's so unusual. December 1977, and I bet that's all you need, and nothing. See. So then, you know, you might say Sharrey Case, and you have to put Illinois then over here. Yeah, so you got that. And it was 27th, 28th. That's not her. 31st, maybe. No. So, it just wasn't in there. I don't know what the deal is, but it wasn't there. I don't know. There could be a million ways you spell Sharrey. I don't want to spend all the time doing it. So, St. Clair County Sheriff investigators are continuing inquiry. I've done all the different other versions. I didn't try that one, though. No, I didn't try that. So, sheriff's investigators are continuing inquiry and awaiting lab reports in connection with the death of Sharrey Lynn Case, 17, of Cahokia. Miss Case was found strangled December 19th in a gully near the abandoned Illinois Central Gulf. Wonder what that is. That looks like a gas station or right of way. So it's a Illinois Central Gulf right of way west of Belleville, off Town Hall Road. Okay, that'll probably get us close. Town Hall Road. That's Town Hall Road. Belleville, Illinois. Okay, so how long is Town Hall Road? It goes from here to right there. So somewhere on this road. Was found strangled December 19th in a gully near the abandoned Illinois Central Gulf right-of-way. What do you think that means? It's G-U-L-F, not like golf, like a golf course. Is that like a water, something to do with water that goes to the, I don't know. What do you think that means? Illinois Central Gulf right-of-way. But it was abandoned. Anybody have any idea what that might mean? In a gully near the abandoned Illinois Central Gulf right-of-way, west of Belleville, off Town Hall Road. Her body was discovered by a jogger who was running along a road near the right-of-way. The right-of-way? Nah, it's an actual road. Maybe. Is there a railroad track around here? Let's see. What if I type that in? Central Gulf right-of-way. Whatever the hell that is. It doesn't exist. Hold on. Well, no, it's a right-of-way. I went over that. Illinois Central Gulf right-of-way. Abandoned. Yeah, maybe it is like a gas station. Maybe. Let's see. Illinois Central Gulf. Bellevue. Let's see. Illinois. Well, let's see. Now they had the same name right there. 1974. Wow. Route number 51. Way of the Illinois Central Railroad. So that says railroad right there. Like Dan was saying. Oh, so maybe a railroad crossing, maybe, but it's an abandoned railroad track. Let's see. So that might make sense if it was like an old abandoned railroad track, but and there used to be a crossing there, maybe. I don't know. Illinois Central Gulf right-of-way. See, Grant at Illinois Central Gulf Railroad. So it'd be like a right-of-way for the trains, maybe. Let me go back in time. Maybe that'll help. Okay, 1998. Looks similar to now. Huh? No, it's the right of way is the road maintenance trucks use along. I don't know what that means. You have to do a better sentence than that. Yeah, it's like I just don't see anything that looks like that. I mean, that's Town Hall Road, and that town should be, well, let's see. Where is Belleville? Hopefully I'm in the right place. Oh, yes, it's west of there, right? West of Bellevue, yeah. And then it's this road. There's only one of them. It's right there. Off of Town Hall Road. So she was found off of Town Hall Road near the abandoned Illinois Central Gulf right-of-way. Town Hall Estates. Wait, what's that thing? I don't know. Kind of looks like some old something or other, but yeah, I just want to find the tracks, you know? Could that have been it? No. That's a driveway. And they might have pulled up the tracks since then. Alright, I'm just going to look in here one last time. Central Gulf right-of-way. Well, that's even in there, right? Bellevue News Democrat. Okay, here we go. Come on. Beginning at the intersection of northeast right-of-way line of former Illinois Central Gulf Railroad. This is 2006. So, beginning at the intersection of northeast right-of-way line of former Illinois Central Gulf Railroad right-of-way, 60 feet wide with the E. Is there a northeast? I think they're referring to the same thing. Northeast right. No, it's nothing shows up in there. City Bellevue, Illinois is established July 2006. A city hall at 101 South Illinois Street. The legal description of the boundaries of the property subject to the annexation agreement is as follows. A tract of land beginning parts of lots 3 and 4 of I mean, I think this is the same place right here. Yeah, so what, Audrey? Yeah. Let's see. The Bellevue News Democrat. Let's try this one. Centered line of the right. There's another one. Boom. The center line of the right-of-way of the Illinois Central Gulf Railroad. See that? It does feel like it's a railroad track. And I'm just trying to find any railroad track anywhere around here. I can't even find any semblance, or of a railroad track. And it looks like, if we go back to, I mean, they were trying to change it a long time ago, so. Let me turn off streets so we can see these things. I don't know, you guys. Do not know. Yeah, so they said it was off of this road, Town Hall Road, and Town Hall Road only goes from right there to here, and then you're looking for, something to do with a railroad track. Well, let's see what that is. That was an interesting little line there. Looks almost like a landing area for planes. Well, this is 1988 right here. So this one, that's a really good picture for 1988. So maybe we can get something out of this one. I'm about ready to move off of this though, and if somebody gets the exact spot, let me know. And it might, and the thing is, it might even show up in one of the later articles. Okay. So how about this? Let's just, well, keep it on this image for now. It could be like a killer would drive and wouldn't want to go too far into there. How much has this changed right here? What about 85? How'd that look? Yeah. That's a good one for 88 right there. So let's get off of this and keep going. All right. Don't want to get boggled down in the weeds. Miss Case, well, we can't even find the tracks though, Dan. That's I guess that's the key. If I found the railroad tracks, I'd know exactly where this was without even spending any time. Miss Case was found strangled December 19th in a gully near the abandoned Illinois Central Gulf right-of-way west of Belleville off Town Hall Road. Her body was discovered by a jogger who was running along a road near the right-of-way. The body was under a pile of wooden slats and stones in the gully, which was partially filled with water. Sergeant James Lay and investigator Dave Gravitt of the St. Clair County Sheriff's Department are talking to friends of the victim while awaiting several lab reports from the state. The girl's body had been in the gully for approximately a month. According to investigators, she had been reported missing more than a month ago, according to the records of the Cahokia Police Department. Cahokia. The body was identified by a set of keys with a leather tag inscribed with the name Shar on it, and from dental records. Well, let's just do that really quick. So if we went like Shar, and then 1977 December, and in Illinois. Did they mention that in the paper first? And the answer is no. And from dental records, a pathologist report said Miss Case had been strangled with a thin wire. Miss Case, the daughter of Jerome Case Cahokia, was a 1977 graduate of Cahokia High School and an employee of the Venture Store in Fairview Heights. All right, then it goes. There's nothing else in the paper. Then this one here might have a lot of details in it because it seemed to look like it might do that. This almost looks a little bit like the 1880s newspaper, how dense this is, but Sharrey Case, this is 1980, February 25th. Who killed Sharrey Lynn Case? And that's a picture of her, obviously, right there. For 2 days in December 1977, Sharrey Lynn Case commanded headlines in area newspapers. I didn't see one. She had not won an award or an election or spoken out on some issue at a political function. The 17-year-old Miss Case, a Cahokia native who dreamed of one day designing mobile homes. Well, thanks, Monica. See, I don't know, a lot of people on this channel here, what we do is we sort of look into cases all together at the same time, and it's fun, you know. I go through it and I kind of just give you my own thoughts while we're working through it, and then other people have comments, and then, you know, sometimes I get stuck and then people help out and we work through them, and then we plot everything out, map it out, and by the time we're done, everybody knows all the details. And you know, you almost want to go when you're at your parents' house or your friend's house, you're like, hey, did you hear about the case with the, you know, and you can go through the whole damn thing. All right? Come on, everybody. Raise your hand if you've done that before on one of the cases that we've covered. You know you've done it. I've done it a million times. And over time in here, if you watch this channel and you go over all the different cases, I mean, I actually have police officers and sometimes detectives that say, hey, I like the way you do your show, you know. So it's not like, it's not cool and exciting and, you know, well, I mean, it can be exciting, but it's not sensationalistic where I'm just trying to get as many viewers as possible. I tell you what, if you don't like my show, don't watch the damn thing. But if you like it, you'll watch it, and over time you'll become very good at sort of predicting what's going to be happening in various cases. You get way better at it. Your intuition will jump up dramatically, right? So every one of you knows that that's exactly what happens. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. And if you have any friends that actually want to be, you know, learn shit in true crime and go over cases, then this is a place to go. If you want to just sit there and have a place to, you know, jibber jab about whatever and just, you know, staring at the camera, reading the comments only. I don't do that here. I do read the comments from time to time, as you can tell, but it's not like I sit there and stare at them, because I have my own brain. You know, that's what it's all about, right? Like, yeah. So, anyways, the 17-year-old Miss Case, a Cahokia native who dreamed of one day designing mobile homes, was dead. Her decomposed body found beneath a heap of wood scraps and stones near Town Hall Road, south of Belleville, almost 2 months after she was reported missing by her parents. It took 2 days for the body to be identified, and in the opinion of her parents, 2 days also was the length of the investigation into their daughter's abduction and murder. Yeah, well, that's what it sounded like. It was in the paper for 2 days and then poof, gone. More than 2 years have passed since Miss Case's body was found. Her mother, Carolyn Case, believes her daughter's murder was forgotten, and in the midst of investigations into abduction and murders of 2 Bellevue residents about 5 months after the body was found. Yeah, so it was 2 other people. I had a child too, she said. I'm a mother who's hurting. They act like the body, let's see. They act like she hadn't lived. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, like she was never alive, like she just didn't exist. Yeah, and the thing is, we get a lot of cases like that where there's like one article and boot. We did 3 of those tonight. The death of Sharrey Case was a shock to her parents, her 2 sisters and brother, and her friends. She had plans for the future, her mother said. The teenager had enrolled at Belleville Area College to study data processing and photography. Knowing that her daughter's plans would never be fulfilled, added to the Case family. Yeah, you keep saying Case and you keep wondering what. Oh yeah, that's their last name. And the Case family grief. But the family has found Sharrey Lynn's death even harder to bear because her killer has not been caught. Authorities say the failure to catch Miss Case's killer has not been caused by the forgetfulness of investigators. It was a case of the department running out of clues to lead them to her murderer. Sergeant Jim Lay, Chief of Detectives for the St. Clair County Sheriff's Department, said there's always a time when you get to the point when you've talked to everybody there is to talk to, and then you go back and talk to them again, and still you have no clues. We're always hoping for a lead. It's not like we found the killer standing over the body. Details surrounding the disappearance and death of Miss Case are sketchy. So here we go. About 9:30 p.m. on Friday, October 28th. That's a long time ago. Wow. 1977, Mrs. Case and her husband of 24 years, John, took their daughter to the home of her boyfriend. Let's see, hold on. I thought she's only 17 years old, so what's going on? April 9th, at 9:30 p.m. on Friday, October 28th, 1977, Mrs. Case and her husband, so that her parents, and her husband of 24 years, John. Why don't you just say the mother again? You know, her last name is, she's not married though, so it's Ms. Case, but you know. Took their daughter to the home of her boyfriend. So they took Sharrey to her boyfriend's home, Gary Allen Williams of rural Centralville. So let me I'm going to take some notes on this one. Alright, so this is going to be 9:30. Parents take her to Gary Allen Williams' home, and that's her boyfriend. Okay. Alright, got that. And then he lives in rural Centralville. So let's see where Centerville is. That's actually well, I think it's probably just Centerville. Okay, so lives somewhere, we'll just say Centerville. Don't know what his address is. I wonder if we could find their actual address, because now we have the parents' name. So let me try this. www.benverified.com. And we've got, I wonder if I typed in Gary Allen Williams, if that would actually show up. Gary A. Williams. Is it Center? Yeah, Centralville, Illinois. And that's probably, how old would he be? He'd probably be, what, 20? Well, at the time, but that would be 1980, so man, he'd be, well, let's just say 20. So he'd be about 60-ish right now. And there we go, there's one. Did it say how old he was in that article? 24 years. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. What did they say his middle name was? Gary Allen with 2 L's. So that one looks like a pretty good one. Let's try this one. I'm just looking at a bunch of people's names. So this is his whole name. It's all there. And Yorkville Plant. Ding, 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 ding. Lombard, no. Danville, Diamond. Now, let's see it. Alright, and then the other ones were husband John Case, Mrs. Case, and her husband of 24 years, John Case. The only other Case I've ever heard of is Jay. He watches the show. John Case. And that would be in what was the name of that town? Yeah, crap. Yeah, there's Belleville. Hope you guys aren't bored to death, but I'm just trying to find actual addresses here. They're probably all going to show up later. LLE and then VILLE. There you go. Okay, John and the parents. They'd be like 70 something, right? And they're not in there, so forget it. I gave it a whirl. I gave it a whirl, as they say. Alright, so at 9:30 p.m. on Friday, October 28, 1977, Mrs. Case and her husband of 24 years, John, took their daughter to the home of her boyfriend, Gary Allen Williams, of rural Centralville. Police say Williams is not a suspect in the case. He could not be reached for comment. Miss Case told her parents she would call them if she wanted a ride home, or she would stay at her boyfriend's house and have him take her to work the next day at the Censure store in Fairview Heights. Miss Case, who had graduated in 3 years from Cahokia High School, was working at the store to save money to buy Christmas presents. When Sharrey Lynn entered the trailer of her boyfriend, it was the last time anyone saw her alive except for her killer. When the victim's boyfriend came home from work about midnight, he saw his girlfriend's purse and work smock. Oh, so he wasn't even home. Sharrey Lynn wasn't there. He assumed she had gone for something to eat. There was no food in Williams' refrigerator, only a few sodas. Mrs. Case remembers the next few frantic days. After we dropped Sharrey Lynn off, John and I went to Carlisle Lake until Monday. We came home and called Gary and asked where Sharrey Lynn was. He said he didn't know. I had made a dental appointment for her for Monday and wanted her to take a check with her. That's when I decided to file a missing persons report. I called everyone and every acquaintance she had. Man, see, that's when it's just total nightmare, panicky, just... The day she filed the missing persons report with the Cahokia Police Department, someone from Venture store called Mrs. Case and told her that her daughter hadn't come to work Saturday and hadn't picked up her paycheck. You know how many times have we heard a story where a person didn't pick up their paycheck? I mean, that is an absolute huge red flag at that point. And there's been we've must have had 30 stories that they didn't pick up their paycheck. Didn't pick up her paycheck. The fact that her daughter had not gone to work added to Mrs. Case's concern, but the crushing blow, the one that convinced Mrs. Case that her daughter was dead, came a few days later on the birthday of one of Sharrey Lynn's friends. Sharrey Lynn was the type that if it was your birthday, she'd call you on the phone and buy you a nice gift. If it was one of her friends' birthday, and even if she hadn't run away, she would have called. She didn't call her. I knew then that she was dead, but I couldn't get anyone to believe me. Less than 2 months later, Bruce Kern of Belleville was jogging along Town Hall Road on an unusually warm December morning. So he was actually on that road. His nose caught wind of a foul odor as he neared a dirt road along Illinois Central Gulf Railroad right-of-way. There we go. So that's way more descriptive. Below him was a shallow creek. Well, let's see now. Let's see if we can see a creek off of this road here. There's probably a million of them. Man, it's going to drive me nuts that I can't find where there used to be a railroad. I mean, this area here is interesting, you know, like, what was that at one point? Was there a railroad that used to go right through there? I guess if we go back to that 90... Yeah, nothing there even in 88. But the guy was just jogging along. And look at that, they actually have street view there. And he said there was a gully even. Yeah. So I guess the one thing that we could never find was the actual railroad tracks that used to be there. So maybe if somebody wants to get adventurous and go on to like newspapers.com and try to find where there might have been a railroad track there that was removed maybe in 1970 something, because this was 1980 and they were already abandoned, remember? Let's see. Less than 2 months later, Bruce Kern of Bellevue was jogging along Town Hall Road on an unusually warm December morning. His nose caught wind of foul odor as he neared a dirt road along the Illinois Central Gulf Railroad right-of-way. Below him was a shallow creek and a pile of wood and stones. He saw what he thought was a piece of blue jeans poking from beneath the rubble. As he neared, the stench grew stronger, and the jogger realized that there was something buried under the pile. It was the body of Miss Case, who had been strangled with a thin piece of wire still twisted tight around her neck. Wow. She was fully clothed except for a sock taken from her foot and stuffed in her mouth. Oh my God. So she had a wire around her neck and then a sock stuffed in her mouth too. So it kept her from screaming, and then he killed her with like a garrote almost, you know. It took 2 days for medical experts to determine the teenager's identity. The experts sifted through countless missing persons report and at area police departments and finally matched Miss Case's dental records to those of the body. They came and got me at work when they found her, said the victim's mother, a bus driver for the Cahokia school system the past 11 years. I wasn't really surprised. It was more of a relief. I knew wherever she was being held against her will. Sheriff detectives questioned dozens of people immediately following the discovery of the teenager's body, but the investigation was over before it started. The investigation was a dead end when we got there, Lay said. We started off a month behind because She had been there for a while. Examination by a county pathologist determined the victim had died during the warmer month of November and not in December, where her body was found, or when her body was found. No exact date of time of death could be determined because of the decomposition of the body. 5 months after Miss Case was found, 14-year-old Elizabeth West of Belleville disappeared while walking home from school late one night. A few weeks later, Miss West's body was found in a creek near Millstadt. So it kind of makes you think that some of these might be connected. 2 months passed, and a 21-year-old Bellevue woman, Ruth Ann Janney, disappeared after leaving work. Miss Janney's skeletal remains were found near Hecker in July 1979. The murders of the 2 Bellevue residents received extensive coverage from the area media, and Mrs. Case's opinion shoved her daughter's unsolved murder into the shadows. Every paper we ever read was about the other girls. I contacted everybody I could about a connection between Sharrey Lynn's murder and the others, but everybody acted like, why bother? That's pretty lame. Gregory Bauman of Bellevue was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment last year for the murders of Miss West and Miss Janney. So those 2 other people, Ruth Ann Janney and Miss West right here, or actually it's Elizabeth West, Ms. West, she's only 14 years old. They actually arrested somebody. I mean, but it's in the exact same area, you know? I don't know. Gregory Bauman of Bellevue was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment last year for the murders of Miss West and Miss Janney. Lay said investigators found few similarities between the cases and the murder of Miss Case. The 3 young women were strangled and dumped in remote areas, but that was the extent of the similarities. So maybe they didn't have a sock, and maybe it wasn't a wire. Bauman, while being held in St. Clair County Jail, made statements implicating himself in the West and Janney murders, but made no mention of the Case death. Said Lay, it would be easy to say he did it. We can't exclude him, but Bauman wasn't afraid to talk about 2 murders. Why not 3? So that's your out there. Mrs. Case said she and Sharrey Lynn had their disagreements, but her daughter had a deep love for her family. She had planned to buy some blue jeans for Christmas for her brother and sister. She had written down the sizes and put that and the money in her back pocket. She told me she was going to go buy them during her lunch hour the next day. They found the money and sizes in her back pocket when they found her. Oh boy. She never made it to the store. Because the money was found, investigators have ruled out robbery as a motive. Pathologists were unable to determine if the teenager had been raped because of the condition of the body. At present, it seems unlikely that Miss Case's killer will be caught. Although detectives are not actively investigating the murder, Lay said agents occasionally question people about it in hopes one day finding the victim's murder. People thought the West Janney cases could never be solved either. Anytime you talk to anybody who's willing to talk about a crime, we run it by them. It always stays in your mind. Miss Case remembers too. I keep going over it in my mind because I don't know why she was killed, and I want to know. Yeah, so I gave quite a bit of information there. So that was 1980, and now we're going to 1987. Parents of children who died from form a support group. So these are Carolyn Watoa was enjoying a vacation away from home while standing in a crowd. She watched as the wind knocked the cap off a little boy's head. I saw that little bald head, and for a moment, he was Chris, she said. Chris was her 12-year-old son who died in 1973 after a 10-year battle with brain tumor. Everyone around me was having a good time, and there was nowhere for me to go to deal with the memories. You know, that is one of the worst parts. You know, I remember after, like, you know, the only example I have at this point is my brother that died, you know. And so when he died, I remember just being in this crazy state of, it's really weird, you know. It's like just a strange feeling. It's hard to even describe it, really. But the worst part, well, the thing that's weird, I don't know if it's the worst part, is like you see everybody else joking around and laughing and just doing the same old shit they always do. And you're looking at them like, how in the hell can you even crack a smile? You know, like when you're just really depressed. But of course, they're just regular people and they're, you know, they didn't have the same connection and stuff. But, you know, that is kind of a truth. That's what she was just saying. Everyone around me was having a good time, and there was nowhere for me to go to deal with memories. So that's another lady who had a son die of cancer. Carolyn Case of Cahokia and Watoa of O'Fallon decided to begin a compassionate Friends of Belleville. Sorry, I think it's Belleville. I keep saying Bellevue because there's a Bellevue, Washington up here. After years of belonging to a chapter of the international organization in Wood River. Being able to talk to other parents who had been through the death of a child helped them and their husbands cope with their grief, the woman said. So, you know, it's pretty cool. She started a group. And let's see, then in 2005, they just skipped all these years. They really didn't cover that case at all. And then we got inquiry into 1977 killing reopened. So for 27 years, a file box stored in the basement of St. Clair County Sheriff's Department contained the investigative file of an unsolved strangulation murder of a teenage Cahokia girl. So it's Cahokia. Let me try this again. So it was John Case in Cahokia, Illinois. Okay, that could be him. Yeah. 91 years old. That sounds about right. Because that would have been 1977, 45, and then he was probably 40 something at the time. So that's it. Man, he died in 2013. So he lived a long time. Unfortunately, it doesn't have anything in that particular area. And then Carolyn, is that what it said on the last article? Hold on. I think it said Carol. Yeah, there's Carolyn Case. There you go. Alright. So that's her. Hold on a second. Yeah, no, there's a Facebook page. I've seen it. How about just when I do the cases, just let me go over the case. Don't leave and go looking stuff up because it always throws me off. I've already got that stuff, all right? Just watch the show. I know everybody wants to hurry up and go get more information really quick, but we're just going over it the way I'm going over it. All right, let's see. Let me get the... Yeah, so she doesn't have any addresses in Cahokia either. But that's where they lived at the time. I didn't say to look for images. What are you talking about? I never said to look for images. What are you talking about? I just wanted to know where the railroad tracks were on the in the case here. That's it. All right, so let me get back to this. It was on the west side. So you're saying there was a train station on the west side of South Illinois Street? Let's see. Put it right there. Okay, well that's way over there. Yeah. So we're trying to find something that's over here. Off of this street right there. See that? Are you being you got an investigator eye there, Sarita? I'm not ever sure what that one means. Like you're looking at something? So West Illinois Street goes all the way up to here. It goes that direction. It doesn't go anywhere near... It looks like that might be a railroad track right there, though. Yeah. So there's some railroad tracks. Let's see, does this kind of go over anywhere? Well... Yeah... I don't know. I see this railroad track right here, though. And that's this street. Town Hall Road. Well, that's the railroad track, but it doesn't go over here, but maybe... I guess it's possible at one point this went somewhere else. Maybe they called... Hold on. Let's just put streets back on again. Town Hall Road. And then it ends there. So I don't know if it... maybe at one point it kept going, but I didn't see that on the map. Even on the 1988 one. Wasn't there. Okay, we did that one. Alright, so right here. For 27 years, a file box stored in the basement of the St. Clair County Sheriff's Department contained the investigative file of an unsolved strangulation murder of a teenage Cahokia girl. The case now will be the focus of a Sheriff's Department investigation who will try to determine whether the death can be linked to Gregory Bauman, who spent 26 years in prison for the murder of Elizabeth West, 14, and Ruth Ann Gianni, 21. So it's weird how she's 17, fits right in that age range of the killer. Sheriff Merle Justice said Friday that the cold case of 17-year-old Sharrey Lynn Case deserves to be reopened to see whether it can be linked to Bauman. I don't remember. But to be honest with you, Zozo, I don't remember asking to look up images on this case. Are there a bunch of extra images on this case out there? Because I'm just going over the newspapers.com one. But maybe if they have crime scene photos, we can determine something. But I haven't seen them. It seems like they forgot about the case for 20 years. Let's see. Sharrey Lynn's case deserves to be reopened to see whether it can be linked to Bauman. So they're, even 20-something years later, they're trying to link it to Bauman. I will take it, the case file, out and assign it to one of my hotshot investigators, Justice said. An important difference between the Case murder and the West and Janney murder is that there may be usable DNA evidence from 2 hairs taken from under Case's fingernails. Investigators want to know whether the DNA from those hairs match Bauman's DNA. While Justice met Friday with his investigators, Bauman sat in the St. Clair County Jail on a $150,000 bond. I could do 2005. I thought he was already in jail. That's right. He was in jail for these other 2 cases, and then he got out like on a technicality on something, if I remember right. The new trial resulted after St. Clair County Circuit Richard Aguirre heard testimony in 2001 that an undercover deputy in Bauman's 1979 cellmate Danny Stark had collaborated to get Bauman to confess to the West and Janney murders. But Stark had even more to tell. After years of silence, Stark told the News Democrat last week that Bauman talked about 3 murders, now in his 50s and jailed again. Okay, so they're reopening the case, 2005. And then... Level 5. And here's some pictures here. This is in 2005, May 17th. Hold on a second. I'm gonna have to go to the yeah, I have that link in there. Oh, it's an actual building. Yeah. It's funny because I saw those earlier, but it doesn't seem like that's what they were talking about. Let's see. Well, anyways, here's what this is an article that I have. I believe it's in the I don't know if it's in the description or what, but I remember seeing this earlier. But to me, I didn't even know what I was looking at. So this is what Zozo just had. So let's see what it says in there. All right. So on August 23rd, 2018. The Historical Society unveiled a memorial plaque to commemorate the Pinnacle Street Railroad, which brought freight and passengers into the heart of the community. Many people were surprised to learn of this rail line and sought more detail, so here's the rest of the story. The Grand Junction Railroad Company was given its charter in 1870, and after much negotiation, a route was decided. By 1873, the track was laid from Belleville Harbor up the west side of the Pinnacle Street. So let's see where Pinnacle Street is in here. Okay, so that's close now. Well, that's Pinnacle. Well, no, that's Pinnacle. That's just the name of a building. But it's kind of right near that road, though. Interestingly. Yeah, I guess I should have read more about it earlier, right, Sarita? I didn't know that it was going to be something that would be hard to find. Ah, jeez. I just thought it would be something simple, you know. But I remember looking at that building going, what the hell is that building? 1973, the track was laid from Bellevue Harbor up the west side of the Pinnacle Street, turning right behind houses on Great Street. Let's see where that is. Oh, so maybe right here? No, it's Great Clips. See, it's funny how they tell you stuff, but then it's not really... you know, none of those things exist anymore. The former Pinnacle Street Methodist Church near Canadian Legion was... Okay, let's see where that is. Canadian Legion. Yeah, it's American Legion. Nothing exists. God, it's ridiculous. Was bought from the Masonic Lodge 1873 and remodeled into headquarters in downtown station. It was 3 years later that 2 crossover diamond tracks arrived at the docks and were installed. Finally, on June 24th, 1877, the first passenger train left the downtown station and headed for Sterling. The Grand Junction Railroad was amalgamated with Midland 1880. Let me just... I don't know. I don't think this is the right place. Doesn't look like it. You're crazy, Sarita. Google Roscoe. Okay, let me try that. How come I can't grab that? Yeah, I know, but that's not where my street is. Alright, so let's see, where is this? Is this in the right place? That's Belvedere. This one. Let me go back to this for a second. Yeah, Pinnacle Street doesn't, I mean, it's not even there anymore. Watch. Pinnacle Street. In Bellevue, Illinois. Those are just places called that, but it's not there. See? Like there's a HOA, Pinnacle HOA Management. That street is Bellevue Crossing Street. Pinnacle Electronic Systems. Doesn't exist. So, I mean, it's interesting how close that Bellevue Crossing Street is to Town Hall Road, which is off of Town Hall Road. I don't have any street. I just went and looked at the one. Yeah, it might be Sarita. It just might be. Just might be. I don't have a street. Yeah, it says the former Pinnacle Street Methodist Church, but there isn't even a near the current Canadian Legion. Well, there's no Canadian Legion. either. So, was bought from the Masonic Lodge in 1873. The Grand Junction trunk route is marked on the map where it ran down Pinnacle Street. Right, that's what we were just looking at. And let's see, is that right downtown here? Or is that the creek that they have in there? It looks more like a river, what they've got. Oh. So is it Pinnacle Street in St. Louis? I don't know, man. That doesn't look like this right here. Looks like the map that you have over there with the way the thick river like that winds around. This little town over here in Belleville doesn't have. But see what I'm saying? Nah, no thanks. Belleville, Illinois. All right, I'll try your coordinates. Yeah, those don't work. If I put I gotta get rid of the quotes. Yeah, you left something off of your coordinates there. They don't work. You didn't put the direction of the one on the left. Maybe it's north. No. South. Yeah, your coordinates don't work. That's what I'm saying. See how the whole show is just like stopped on a dime, trying to look at something that's not exact, and just see Belleville, Illinois. Okay. Yeah. That sucks about Logan, yeah. It does suck. I have the train track by a creek. Yeah, where? Where's the train track? Tell me where it is, Charisma. It's off of Town Hall Road here. It has to be off of Town Hall Road. And you find me a train track and a creek. And I even have it go back to 1988. And that road's the same road. It's no different. Ends right there and goes over to here. So the body was found off of this road. I guess we're gonna have to make this one go into tomorrow. It's too long. I've got like another 8 different articles that need to be read. Oh yeah? Great grandma's nursing home was in Belleville. Yeah, isn't that where you've been driving around? Somewhere around in that area? Yeah, but that doesn't exist right there. The coordinates that you gave me here in Facebook do not work. See? Now let me just take something else and see what it says here. Maybe it'll help. All right, let me. Ah, shit. I don't know how to convert that over. Hold on. GPS coordinates. All right. So you might say, yeah, north. So this should be north up here. And it's after the inches, so right there, and then a comma. That doesn't even, it's not even in the same area at all. It's like in a... Yeah, that's not even close, whatever the hell that is. Yeah, so next. South. No. Yeah, so those coordinates you gave me, you have to use north and then the other one's west. Right? So after the .24, yeah, it's not even close. The railroad line of Pinnacle Street was part of the Grand Junction Railroad, which ran from Belleville to Petersboro. Wood-burning locomotive, Belleville's own railroad link. Was that in Illinois, though, or is that somewhere else? 'Cause maybe there's another Belleville that you have. Hold on. Belleville. And then, has all my other searches that I've already done. There's a Belleville, Michigan. Seems like that's more like where I just was. Anyways, you know what? We're in the ballpark, you guys, on the location. All right, we are on the we are in the ballpark. We have it close to the area. Lived here at Town Hall Road. Put that into that one. Boyfriend, where did I put the boyfriend one? There it is. That goes right there. And we'll just keep working on that. Alright, well anyways, thanks for everybody for looking around. Yeah, I did ask to help find the location, not photographs, but I was looking for a precise location of where the railroad was near Town Hall Road back before 1980. You know, it might have even been 60s to 70s. There is a railroad track right there. This is Town Hall Road, and that's her body was found near there, but we haven't been able to find it, the exact spot. So if anybody just really nails that in, let me know. All right? But sorry about that. Got a little sidetracked. I'll spend another half hour here, see how far we can get. Alright, so here it goes. For 27 years, Linda Thomas and Shirley Greathouse wondered who strangled their sister Sharrey Case and left her body under a pile of construction debris near Belleville. They may get an answer. St. Clair County Sheriff Merle Justice has reopened the probe into Sharrey's 1977 death to determine whether it was connected to accused Gregory Bauman, who has spent 26 years in prison for the 1978 murders of Elizabeth West and Ruth Ann Janney. It's really great to have a fresh look at Sharrey's murder, said Greathouse, who lives near Kansas City, Missouri. We are anxiously awaiting some answers. It's long overdue, and we're very excited. Her sister agreed. I'm thrilled, elated, said Linda Thomas, who lived near Salt Lake City. We have thought about this every minute of every day. Maybe now we'll get some closure. Sheriff investigators Bill Kenny will head the probe into Sharrey's slaying, including trying to track down evidence collected nearly 30 years ago, hairs taken from under her fingernails. Sharrey, 17, was last seen by her parents October 28, 1977. Hey, there you go. You're a freak again, Juju Positive. Thank you. So when their parents dropped her off at her boyfriend's trailer in rural Centreville. The last time I saw her, she was tucking two $20 bills in her back pocket. She was going to buy some jeans. Walking towards the trailers, and Sharrey's mother, Carolyn Case, I remember telling her to be careful. It didn't fall out. That was the last time I said it to her. So she had sizes and money to buy jeans for her, I think, her siblings. Sharrey's body was found on, let's see, here we go, a dirt road off Town Hall Road on December 19th, 1977. The money still tucked in her back pocket, along with a set of keys. The teenager had been strangled with a wire, and a green sock was stuffed in her mouth. Her left foot was without a shoe or sock. Her left shoe was found in a small creek about 25 feet away, according to police records. All right, one last try here, you guys. This is 1988. Is there a dirt road anywhere? Let me turn off roads. That could be a dirt road. That could be a dirt road. That could be a dirt road. That could be one. It's like a million, but that's a creek right there, I would think. So there's a creek running around right there. So that's probably going to be the creek. And it's going around, and then it keeps going, and then it winds around, and then it doesn't look like it comes back around. So let's see where we can see this coming over here. I wonder if it's right around in this area. There's like a gully. I wonder if that's the right in there. A gully, and is there a dirt road or something around here? Kind of seems like a dirt road off Town Hall Road on December 19th. The money's still... let me go back to the sentence before. Sharrey's body was found on a dirt road off of Town Hall Road on December 19th. Her left foot was without a shoe. Her left shoe was found in a small creek about 25 feet away, according to police reports. Sharrey was buried on Christmas Eve. Yeah, I don't know, but the creek is, when you look at that map, the only time a creek was anywhere near, it's kind of like in this area. And look, there's a dirt road right there, and let's just say, you know, maybe right there. Okay, just somewhere around in there. I guess right over here it comes across again. I don't see the dirt road though. And then ends there. So it has to be either here or right there, just given the distance. You know, you wouldn't stumble off of jog. See, here's what you got to think about. While jogging along the road, he smelled something and found her body, and it was, 25 feet apparently or so from a creek. So it's either there or, I guess that could be. So it's either in this spot or yeah, right there, and then maybe this could be another possible area. But that's it. Other than that, you wouldn't be 25 feet there. So, and this one, it diverges and goes away. Now I guess it's possible there's another little tiny creek, like maybe that's a little tiny creek, kind of looks like one. So then you have another option there. Let me take a look what that looks like right off of here. It should still be there. And so there's another little creek that goes off. Does it go underneath there? No. That looks like a gully though. Man, that's about the most difficult place that we've had to try to find, And it's weird because now it's way over here, seemingly. Is that water? Alright, guys. Hope you're not falling asleep on me yet, but alright, so then Sharrey was buried on Christmas Eve. We just did what we had to, Greathouse said. We prepared for her funeral when we tried to heal privately. 5 months later, Elizabeth West, 14, was abducted while walking home from Belleville Township West High School from a play. And then her body was found in a creek near Millstadt on May 5th, 1978. She had been strangled with her bra strap. So that's different than The Wire. 2 months after West's body was found, Ruth Ann Janney, 21, disappeared from a Bellevue bank. Her decomposed body was found a year later in a field near Hecker. She also had been strangled. Bauman was arrested after he tried to abduct then 31-year-old Jeannie Taylor from a Bellevue coin laundry. Taylor escaped. Bauman, then 27, was convicted of abducting Taylor and was sentenced to 30 years in prison. While awaiting a transfer from St. Clair County Jail to state prison, he confessed to the West and Janney murders to Deputy Robert Miller. In 1999, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch reported Miller enlisted the help of Bowman's cellmate, Danny Stark, to trick Bauman into confessing by concocting a fake jailbreak plot to delay his transfer to prison. 2 years later, St. Clair Associate Circuit Judge Richard Aguirre ordered a new trial for Bauman, saying Bauman's confession was coerced. He remains in St. Clair County Jail with bail set at $150,000 awaiting trial. He also is awaiting to see whether jurors in the new trial will be allowed to hear his original confession. During a jailhouse interview last week, Stark told a reporter that Bauman told him in 1979 there was a third victim. Sharrey's sister said it's possible Bauman could have abducted and murdered Sharrey, who was known to hitchhike. Even if Bauman is not her killer, they are pleased justice reopened the case. And that's somebody's name. I hope it is not him. They will not just let it go away, Greathouse said. I hope they don't forget, because she has never been forgotten. Hey, Timothy, what's going on? you guys still around? The chat's slowed to a crawl again. Okay, so now, in November of 2005, after they reopened it, the county will pay to exhume the body of Cahokia teenager found murdered 28 years ago. I fully understand and agree that the exhumation is our responsibility. The victim was Sharrey Lynn Case, whose strangled body was found under a pile of construction debris in rural Belleville in 1977. Much of the evidence in the case is missing except for a few yellowed police reports found in the sheriff's department's basement, including one report that mentions 2 hairs found under one of Case's fingernails. Case's body was not embalmed because of the state of decomposition. Investigators are hopeful some physical evidence may remain to provide evidence against her murderer. The Case family and friends began raising money. The Case family and friends began raising money after learning the sheriff's department didn't have the money in its budget to exhume Sharrey's body after the murder investigation was reopened earlier this year. Well, we've done that. Okay, good. You guys are still there? All right. We're relieved we finally can set the fundraising aside and prepare ourselves psychologically for the exhumation. About $900 was raised to help defray costs of the exhumation. The case investigation was reopened 4 months ago to determine whether the death can be linked to Gregory Bauman. Right, a couple weeks later, slain girl will be exhumed for evidence. The remains of Sharrey Lynn Case, buried 28 years ago in Kentucky, will be exhumed today as family members stand ready to face a second lowering of her casket. If the exhumation yields DNA, it will be checked against the database that collects DNA from criminals nationwide. Hey, welcome, Candy Aldridge. Oh yeah, or yeah, I mean, not welcome. You've already been here, but I guess the term is. Hey, awesome! 5 months. You're listening. Okay, good. Let's see. Evidence collected from so this is now 2006, March 17th. Evidence collected from the exhumed body of Cahokia teenager murder 28 years ago was too deteriorated to analyze by a state crime laboratory, and will be sent to a more sophisticated lab, the victim's sister says. The body of Sharrey Lynn Case was exhumed in November from her grave in Bardwell, Kentucky. I wonder if she was in some Kentucky newspapers, and I didn't see that. Authorities hoped the remains would yield evidence that would help solve the murder case. It was found strangled on December 19, 1977, on a rural road south of Belleville. Case's sister, Shirley Greathouse of Belton, Missouri, near Kansas City, said she was recently updated by authorities. They said that some of the evidence was too something. Degraded. That's probably what it says. Come on. Open up. That's not it. I guess I don't have the second part of that one. Yeah, well, either way, we were sending it on to another lab. And then this one, I mean, look how these articles are massive. DNA tests show that the hair belonged to her. That's crazy. The hair under her own fingernails were hers. DNA test results show hairs taken from under the exhumed body. I don't know. Yeah, well, what about the ones that were collected at the scene that were under her hands? Those are different. Under the exhumed body of 17-year-old Sharrey Lynn Case, who was killed 29 years ago, belonged to Case. Well, yeah, but what about the ones that they collected? The test showed there was no foreign DNA. St. Clair County Sheriff's Department Sergeant Bill Kenny said, "We would have liked for it to come out differently, but unfortunately there's no way to change it." Case's body was exhumed in November from her Bardwell, Kentucky grave in an effort to recover evidence to determine who strangled her. Crime scene investigators sent those hairs to a state-of-the-art FBI laboratory in Minnesota in an effort to determine whether the strands belonged to Gregory Bauman, who was convicted in 1979 of murdering 14-year-old Elizabeth West and 21-year-old Ruth Ann Janney. Case's body was found just before Christmas 1977 on a dirt road off Town Hall Road, south of Belleville. Only 5 months before Belleville West High School student Weston Stephen and 7 months before nurses A. Janney were abducted. Bauman, 54, pleaded guilty to murdering Janney and West in 1979, but won a new trial in 2002. Well, he admitted it, though. He pleaded guilty. That's crazy. I mean, that means he did do it, and the confession was real, but he got a new trial on a technicality. And right now he's currently waiting for a new trial. After the case was reopened, investigators sought evidence from the Case murder, but learned it was destroyed. Kenny said no evidence collected from the exhumation became paramount in the Case investigation. Oh, so evidence did. Yeah, so the evidence that they had from the original crime scene was destroyed. God, how irresponsible these people are. Man, if it was their own kid, man, they would have put it in some sort of a gel and stored it where it would never be touched by a human again. I don't know what you're talking about, Bebop. Are you okay, Bebop? You sound a little mentally bothered, a little bit. Okay. And let's see. These are the other victims here. Bauman may be linked to another killing. Oh yeah, they have a different name down here, so let's see. A single fingerprint taken from the door of a broken car could connect Gregory Bauman to the rape and murder almost 30 years ago of an Indiana University student. Hers is only one of several slayings in which Bauman is a suspect. Former Indiana State Police investigator Maurice Bud Alcron investigated the slaying of Anne Louise Harmeyer for nearly 30 years. He said Friday he will ask a detective to compare the fingerprint taken from her car with Bauman's fingerprints, saying Bauman could be a suspect. I don't know what that person's talking about. Are you talking about my dogs? Beep, bop. To compare the fingerprints taken from Harmeyer, Bauman is charged with 3 young women's murders. Police are looking at other cold cases from February 1977. He has 3 now? Who's the third one? 5 victims. Let's see what this is saying right here. It's saying Velda Rumfeld's body was found near Eureka, Missouri. Rumfeld, 16, was raped and strangled. Anne Louise Harmeyer, 20, disappeared from a busy highway in central Indiana. Her body was found October 18th, 1977. She was raped and strangled. Wow, these are all in 1977. October 28th, 1977. Sharrey Lynn, case 16, disappeared from her boyfriend's trailer near Centerville. Her body was found 6 weeks later. She was strangled. Elizabeth West, 14, was abducted while walking home. This is 1978. And then Judy Ann Janney. Man, that's crazy. They're all like in order. These ones I don't know anything about right here. Might have to check these ones out. Because these are obviously, let's see. They're cold cases, right? Murder of Velda Rumfelt. Velda murder. Is Gregory Bauman dead or alive? So that this one's comparing it to him too. Okay. Done with the playing around. All right, have a good one. 18 once also convicted. DNA evidence helped convict him in a rape and murder. DNA evidence helped convict murder of Velda. Who's this one? This is So I think they think that this one is also. So he's probably a serial killer. This Bauman guy. I think he's probably a serial killer, and you just haven't linked all the different bodies to him. How about murder of Anne Louise Harmeyer? And here we go. Who killed IU student Ann Harmeyer in 1977? And let's see if there were Baumans in here again. No, it's not. Have I done that one? If I haven't, I should do that one. I haven't. All right, I'm going to store that one, and maybe we can try to connect it to. Maybe I'll do that one tomorrow. So, Ann Harmeyer. And this was 1977. Indiana University. Alright. Yeah, I haven't done this one. Alright, I'm going to put this one in there too, in the folder. Man. Is that... I gotta go find this document, so hold on. There it is. That's a long one. It's a huge article. Alright, so I got that ready for tomorrow. Probably try to do this one here. So basically, I don't know how much more there is on this. It's just, it never got solved. Sharrey Case. let me go to the 2016 article right here. This is the last time there's really nothing even on Google post this article right here. So I'll just read this one. Bauman's last interrogation. He died in prison from cancer. Yields no new facts, and it frustrates police. So that's what he looked like before, right here. See that? That's what he looked like back when he was doing that, and that's what he looks like now. Hold on a second.
Almost a whistle.
Yeah. Oh, you starting to buffer? Maybe it's just me sitting so still, Mag. You ever thought of that? That I'm just not even moving at all. I'm just like, thank you, Juju Positive. There we go. You got your whistle. All right, here we go. This will be the last article here, okay? Looks like a serial killer, doesn't he? Yeah. Yeah, it was, man. I was sitting so still. It looked like I was buffering, but it was just... It may have been the last time convicted killer Gregory Bauman met with police. St. Clair County investigators Bill Kenny and Thomas Trice wanted to close a 1977 murder case, the strangulation of 17-year-old Sharrey Case near Belleville, Illinois. They believe Bauman may be their man. On June 23, 2015, Trice and Kenny traveled to the Potosi Correctional Institute, or Correctional in Missouri, where Bauman was on death row for the 1977 murder of Velda Joy Rumfelt in St. Louis County. He was dying, and they hoped they could get him to confess to killing Case. Case's body was found just before Christmas in 1977 on a dirt road off Town Hall Road, south of Belleville. She had been strangled with... It's actually west of Belleville. She had been strangled with a wire and asphyxiated with her own sock and left under a pile of construction debris. Instead of a man who was resigned to his fate, they found a defiant man vowing to beat his death sentence and liver disease. Oh man, that sucks. He was in prison's infirmary in a single cell reserved for the most serious patients. He looked like death, Kenny said. Absolutely, he looked like he was dying. Bauman died Tuesday at the age of 64. The investigators said Bauman was polite, nice, reserved, but he refused to discuss any criminal cases, even the case where he had already been convicted. The Sharrey case investigation was reopened in 2005 after, or the Sharrey Case investigation. It's like that we're having the word case when you're talking about a last name of Case when you're talking about crimes is man, it's hard to get the right inflection half the time. The Sharrey Case investigation was reopened in 2005 after Belleville News Democrat reporters investigating a connection between Case's death and the murder of Elizabeth West and Ruth Ann Janey in 1978 found police reports related to Case's murder in the sheriff's department storage room. Oh, now they found something. Kenny and Trice interviewed Bauman. I guess it's Trice. I thought it was Trace. Was reopened, but they didn't get anywhere. Shirley Greathouse, Case's sister, said she doesn't know who killed her sister. Kenny had hoped that he would open up during that last meeting, but he did not. Greathouse said, He will never be able to tell us what happened to Sharrey, if he even knew. In 2005, Case's body was exhumed from her grave in Bardwell, Kentucky, in an attempt to locate physical evidence that may have been missing in the original autopsy in 1977. A hair was discovered, but testing revealed that it belonged to Case, with no physical evidence. But see, that's the thing. What happened to the hairs that they got originally that were underneath their fingernails? And no confession. There would be no prosecution, but Kenny and Trice went to Potosi one last time to try to get answers for Case's family. I believe and continue to believe that Bauman was the lead suspect in Sharrey's case. Sharrey Case's disappearance, Kenny said. Bauman was convicted of the murder of Elizabeth West, 14, and Ruth Ann Janney, 21, in Belleville in 1979. The evidence against him included statements he gave to sheriff investigators Robert Miller. In 2000, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch published a story raising questions about the circumstances surrounding the conviction. Bauman retained new attorney to fight his St. Clair County conviction while Bauman was being held in St. Clair County Jail after being convicted of kidnapping of another woman, Jeannie Taylor, in Bellevue. Fellow inmate Danny Stark told Bauman that he would help him escape from St. Clair County Jail, but Bauman needed to delay his transfer to the Menard Correction Center. He would delay transfer by talking to police about the Janney and West murders. The escape plan later was discovered to be a ruse.
Do grand freaks. My fiance and I are taking a possibly long break from the true crime genre. I just want to thank you and the Freak family for everything you guys do. Take care and God bless. Peace sign.
Well, thanks, Colin. Why are you guys taking a break from the true crime genre? At least I am on here. You're just learning about true crime. It shouldn't be stressful. You know what I'm saying? But thank you. But let me know why you're taking the a break from the true crime genre. These are really good. These hand warmers. They're called Hot Hands. You get them on Amazon. They're bigger packets, and they stay hot for like 8 hours. It's crazy. And it's just, I don't even know how that works. Clyde Kuhn, the man who prosecuted Bauman in the West and Janney murders in 1979, has said he has no doubt about his guilt in Janney and West murders or the possibility he could have killed Case. Stark Bauman's former prison pal also remembered a chilling detail Bauman talked about killing another girl. Stark, now serving a federal prison sentence, has said that Bauman told him he allowed the victims to get dressed after they were sexually assaulted, so they would believe he was going to let them go. Then he would kill them. Case, West, and Janney all were dressed when their bodies were found. Interesting. They were all sexually assaulted, but they were all dressed. That is an interesting piece of information. During the taped confession in 1978 with Miller, Bauman said if West was strangled, she might have been strangled with a wire, but West was strangled with her bra strap. Case was strangled with a wire. Wait, what does that say down there? During the taped confession in 1978 with Miller, Bauman said if West was strangled, she might have been strangled, so he doesn't really know. You know, he doesn't remember. I bet he's killed way more people than we're even hearing about right here. Been strangled with a wire, but West was strangled with her bra strap. Case was strangled with a wire. Trice credited Miller, who is now deceased, and former Belleville police chief James Rakita with getting Bauman off the streets and preventing him from committing other murders. Miller was the investigator who took Bauman's confession. He was also the investigator who later came under fire for colluding with Stark to trick Bauman. With the escape plot and getting him to talk to him about the Janney and West murders. After he was locked up in 1979, yeah, little live, like actually, you know, going out and doing something. Is that what you're talking about, Colin? Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's always the drama channels that have a lot of like excitement going on. So that's a little livelier. You know what I'm saying? After he was locked up in 1979, there were no more victims, Trice said. Greathouse isn't sure whether Bauman killed her sister or not. In the end, she says it doesn't matter because she does believe he abducted and killed Velda Rumfelt, West, and Janney. I don't know why he was wired the way he was to do the things he did, Greathouse said. Trice is now retired from the sheriff's department. He teaches social and behavioral science in the Criminal Justice Division at Lindenwood University in Belleville. Kenny is a captain at the sheriff's department. Kenny didn't give up hope that Bauman would admit he abducted and murdered Case. He kept that hope until Tuesday, when he learned Bauman had died. When he left that day of his visit last June, Kenny left his business card. I told him when his time got close, if he had a change of heart, to give me a call. That call never came. Never did. Kenny replied. Yeah, jeez. Huh. Well, that does sound like a really good suspect there, right? I mean, you had three. Well, he's also there's 5 different women that they think that he might have killed, and 3 of them were actually killed with kind of what he was suggesting, a wire or a bra. He probably just used what he had around, you know. So that's why he didn't have a I guess a precise MO. I mean, strangulation's an MO, but you can be precise and always strangle with shoelaces or something, right? Well, I mean, not all killers are like that. So, anyways, all right, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Kind of ended up being a longer night than I was thinking. 3 hours and 37 minutes. I think. Hey, Colin, are you? Is that a diss right there? And livelier activities. That sounds like a little bit of a diss. I'm not sure though. I'm gonna have to kind of read that again. Gotta be more than 5. Oh yeah, I think he's a serial killer. I think it'd be interesting to look more into him too. Like, I think it'd be interesting to look him up and see what was his job? Was he a truck driver? Is that why maybe he was in Indiana? All these other places? And if so, you know, look up other murders, because it seems like he was really on a roll there in 77, 78. Maybe there's some in 76. You know, I think he was, what did they say it was, 35? I can't remember how old he was back then. No, you know, he died at 65, and that was in 2016. So he must have been in 1980. He could have been 30, right? Let's see. So right now he would be 72-ish. And yeah, I think I would make him so 40. So 72 minus, let's see, 43. So he's like 29 or 30 during the murders. So he was just getting started as a serial killer at that point. That's kind of a younger age. Well, it is something like that. I don't know his exact age, but he was 65 when he died in 2016. So you add 6 to that, he'd be 72. And then you subtract 40 years to get to 42 years to get to 1980. Okay, so he was around 27 at the time. Ish. There you go. All right, you guys. That's going to do it. Thank you. Thank you very much for supporting the channel and helping us reach our goals. And thank you, Mag and Brenda R. and Tawny Lee, JD, Sherlock Hemlock, Dan Carr, Mag again, Vicky Glendening. Yep, I think I got it right that time. And Lee D again, where she did a test, and then she threw me in a damn jail at -10. And then Pebs came back with it was unrelated. And then I Hate Chocolate threw in some bail, and then Living It set me free after that. But then almost immediately after that, Mag, with that cold heart, she threw me back in prison after I'd already made it out the door. And then Charisma threw in a couple bucks to, pay off the guard there. And then Mag even doubled down on putting me in jail again. And then now I was down $12 or something in prison. And then Candalee added to that and said, you can stay in there. So that made it 5. That was -17. Then Amber Maiden played the violin for me, which actually probably made it -37. Then Pebs put in 2 to get to -35. And then Amber said, okay, here's 24. And that, now it made it -15. And then Sherlock Hemlock made it -10. Then Lori H. and Mag got me the hell out of there for good. And then Allie Cake, Quietly Frozen, Eugenie, Sean Beecham, Susanna MacGill-Padrig, Kathy Friedmaker, Mag, Lori Fisher, Cami Curry, Carly Therese, Kathy Friedmaker, Pebs W, Plato, Delva Johnson, Jessica Schubach, No Place Like Home, Pebs W. And then Juju Positive became a channel member, and I gave her the whistle. And then Colin Pendleton with saying goodbye. I guess it was. Anyways, thank you guys very much. Hey, come on, that's mean, Mag. No, that was very nice of you guys. Thank you for the prison battle there. Helped raise the funds for the night. Very kind of you guys. You guys are awesome. Let's do a round of freak hearts for everybody, and well wishes for everybody out there that are struggling. Keep up your thoughts for Jen H. and Cairo's still sick. Haven't heard from Steph May in like a week, so I don't know what the hell is going on with her. She's been going through a lot. She might have had surgery or something. I don't know. But I haven't seen her, nor can anybody get a hold of her, so I don't know what's going on there. Hey Jennifer, you're going to have to join the lowest tier and be able to get the Freak Hearts. Although that was a pretty good heart too. Well, thanks everybody. Really appreciate it. And we will see you guys tomorrow. We'll go over that one case that I just saw, see what I can find on that one. And then maybe I'll look more into the Bauman guy. You know, try to figure out a little bit more about him. You know, probably when he was arrested, originally there was stuff about him. You know how they do that in the articles. So maybe we can find out more about him. And then, you know, see what the hell else is out there. All right. Well, thank you guys very much, and we'll see you tomorrow. And, as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Hey, maybe we'll do a flyby. There we go. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor. And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his vector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you.
Wow, Gray, look at that. That's really cool. Hey, thanks, Juju Positive. Like a slalom, Gray. really cool, Gray.
Yeah, looks like the inside of a volcano from a long time ago. Erosion.
Oh, hey, thanks, Gray. Hey, Gray, look at there's people there. Cool, man. That's some cool shit.
Wow. Why don't you have some more coffee, Mary Lou? You seem to be just really too amped up, you know what I'm saying?
What do you mean, Gray? I just thought it was really cool. We haven't seen one of those in a long time.
And by the way, why do you keep saying my name when you're talking to me? I'm the only one you're talking to. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just saying your name to emphasize it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what people say. All right. Well, cool. Wow. Wasn't expecting that answer. That was a little above your pay grade there, Mary Lou.
What are you saying, Gray? You saying I'm stupid?
No, I wasn't. Oh, forget it. All right, you guys. We'll see you later. And, yeah. Be safe out there.